Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Guild Wars 2 ESL Pro League for North America. I am Joe Storm Noasel, and back with me once again is Christian Hurix Thomaser. We're in week 4, a lot of action going down today.
Yeah, a lot of important matches today, of course, that will actually sort of determine where teams are going to be. Uh, towards the end, where you could potentially say after this week who's going to be in second, even, going into the next couple of matches that we have.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our season schedule. As I said, we are in week 4 on December 14th here, followed by a short break, and we will resume play for the Pro League in January and round things out with the studio final over on February 20th.
Yeah, so of course, a lot of these matches are going to be really important, but of course, this is the last week before we have that big break where teams can really readjust and see where kind of things are going to settle and just about a month from now. So of course these teams are all vying for that $200,000 prize pool over this 7-week season here, of which we have now 4 weeks left. All these matches are going to be best of 3. We have 16 teams in total, 8 teams per region, and the final top 2 teams of each region, so 4 in total, are going to be going on to that season final. This is, of course, all going to be 5-on-5 conquest. We have 4 maps that we're going to be using in the competitive rotation. Of course, today is going to be Legacy, Kylo, and then Temple. So we do have some really crazy matches, at least in my opinion, because of that map pool that we're going to be using for today, and I'm really excited for it.
As you had mentioned, a $200,000 prize pool for the season itself. First place taking home $10,000, $9,000 to second, all the way down to $2,500 for 8th place. And of course, you did mention 2 from NA, 2 from EU, going to those season finals for that first place prize of $50,000, all the way down to $12.5 thousand for 3rd and 4th place. So a lot of money on the line for all these teams. And of course, if you can't join us for all of today's action, you can find all of the replays and whatnot over on Facebook and Twitter at ESL GW2. Follow them. Give them, let them know about your favorite plays of the day. But of course, we do have gold betting once again.
Yeah, so if you guys want to go ahead and chat right now, you can use the !gold, and then you can just, find out how much gold you have right now. I think everybody starts off with the same amount, 50, I believe. You can use that gold to bet on the matches throughout the day, and then the person with the most gold at the end of the day will then receive a gem prize.
So. Now, for current leaderboard standings, let's take a look at those as we have the Abjured sitting atop everybody. In second place, still Apex Prime, Spooky, and Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy, all sitting at second.
Yeah, so going now then to 5th place, those are going to be the tied teams of Final Form, PZ, and Never Lucky. 2 of those teams, PZ and Never Lucky, are going to be in our first matchup, and of course that 8th place slot going to be taken up by Zero Counterplay, who's yet to kind of really find their stride, but nonetheless, that first match once again is going to be PZ versus Never Lucky, and that'll be the first match that we show you guys on stream here in just a couple of moments. That'll then go into Apex Prime versus Spooky, another really important match in my opinion, and that's going to be a good one as well.
Yeah, and then next we will have Zero Counterplay 0-3 up against 1-2 Final Form, who really need a victory here. Rounding out today's schedule will be Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy up against the Abjured. So a lot of great action coming your way today. Now taking a look at our first matchup, Never Lucky up against Team PZ. What do you have to say about these two teams?
Man, PZ has kind of struggled in the first 2 weeks. They finally have kind of found their stride. They've been doing very well, of course, over the last 2 weeks. They've always been getting better every single week, and this is a team that I said actually back in the qualifier, a team to look out for. And at this point, if they actually wind up taking this match, this set here, I think that they're in a very good position to roll forward and be in that kind of contest for that 2nd place slot to then go on to the season finals. But of course, Never Lucky is the team to beat. This is a team that has kind of struggled. They've had a lot of roster instability, but I mean, another team yet again that kind of struggled at first and now have finally found their stride, and they've been doing well so far.
As you mentioned, roster instability, finally finding a good 5-man group last week and prevailing with it over Apex Prime, who now sits 2-1. And Team PZ, though, they also have found themselves in a good position, dropping 2 matches, 2 of their first sets, but they did take a game off the Abjured and Apex Prime.
Yeah.
And then, of course, taking their set last week. They're in a good position as well if they can win today.
Yeah, and they've had nothing but hard matches, too. I mean, talk about those first 3 weeks, going up against Apex Prime, then against the Abjured, and then against Spooky. I mean, that's such a hard first 3 weeks that now that they've been able to get through that kind of crucible, if you will, I mean, that's going to be, they're going to be pretty set for the rest of the week. They have, of course, games versus Never Lucky that they have to get through, but then they have teams like Zero Counterplay, which, I mean, again, still a little bit of that instability. They haven't really been able to kind of find what works for them. So if PZ can kind of get in there, I mean, granted, those are after a 4-week break. So I mean, anything could really happen. But PZ is definitely in a good position right now if they can take this game versus Never Lucky to move forward and possibly to be in second place at the end of the season.
And why don't we hop into our first match of the day, as we do have both teams joining up here. Over on the red, that would be Never Lucky, and over on the blue, that will be Team PZ. Looks like all of PZ have joined up. Why don't you give me their builds?
All right, starting off here first with Nurse Marvin. That's going to be the Mesmer here, and he's actually opting for the Sword Shield Staff with Durability Runes and Celestial Amulet this time, as I believe we actually saw a lot of Marvin going with the Sentinels. However, he has decided to make that switch, a little bit more pressure there, and he's going to be going with Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. Looking now at Muffins, the Revenant here. He's going to be certainly going for that Viper's Amulet there, Sword Shield with the Mace Axe there, going for Durability Runes, and he's going to be going Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. Next up, we got Java, so cute, and he's going to be going with that Dagger Focus on the Tempest here with Rune Soldier, Celestial Amulet, going to be going with Earth, Water, and Tempest. And now we're going to be moving on to the second of two Chronomancers here, going again with the Celestial Amulet, Sword, Shield, Staff, Durability Runes, again with the Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. And finally, K-Pud is going to be on that Marauder, actually, Revenant, as he's used to running with the Sword, Shield, and Staff. Root of the Holdbrack there, and he's going to be going with Devastation, Invocation, and Herald.
And something to notice from this is Mesmer's kind of pushing towards Celestial now. I mean, we saw a lot of Sentinels Mesmers in the past. We might see a couple today as well, but we'll have to take a look. First up, for the red team, that would be Never Lucky. We have Olrun, who is going to be running that Sentinel's Amulet with the Rune of Durability, running with Staff, Sword, Shield. He'll be taking up Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. Stalacta will be the Elementalist for this team with that Dagger Focus, or Dagger Focus indeed. He's going to be running the Rune of the Soldier with Celestial Amulet. He'll be taking up Earth, Water, and Tempest. They are going to be one of two Revenants. He'll be taking the Staff with the Sword Shield. Oddly enough, he'll be taking Berserker Amulet for his team. Feels like they need a lot of damage with that. He'll be taking that Rune of Durability still, and Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. Now, I anticipate a change, given the fact that he is running Corruption with the Berserker Amulet. Either the trait line, perhaps, or the Amulet. We'll have to take a look before the game starts if he will be sticking to that. Steel Illusions will be the second Mesmer for this team. He also will be running that Sentinel's Amulet with the Rune of Durability. He'll be taking up that Staff, Sword, Shield, and running, it looks like, Inspiration, Chaos, and Chronomancer. And finally, Feob, the fifth member of this team, he'll be taking the Sword, Shield with the Mace Axe. Going to be taking up Viper's Amulet with Rune of Durability, Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. So, what do you think about Bear running the Berserker Amulet here?
I mean, first of all, Bear running a Revenant, I mean, we've, of course, seen him play the Ranger. We've seen him play the Guardian as well. We've never really seen him really kind of pick up the Revenant and be, I mean, very strong with it. I mean, at least not yet. I mean, he's certainly had time to figure things out, and this team has changed a lot of things over the past couple weeks and still
and he did change it, as anticipated. So he might have just been messing with us, but it looks like the Viper's Amulet will be coming out. So normal build from him then.
Yeah, and I've actually spoken to these teams, or to this team rather, and they actually think that Feob is their Revenant to beat for sure, because they feel like he's really gotten a lot of time to practice on it, and he's really feeling a lot more comfortable than a lot of the other players there, at least in 1v1 situations. But look to see Steel Illusions probably trying to take that 1v1, where Olrun is probably going to be the team fight.
Opening split for game number one on the Legacy. The Faux Fire looks like we're going to be having a bit of a defensive split come out for both these teams. Ooh, a big defensive split coming out here. It looks like they want to send their Mesmer to the Graveyard and Waterfall. So Team Never Lucky, both teams 3-point play as anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're going to have to make sure that we watch Steel Illusions. I mean, he's really going to have to be kind of careful here going up against Muffins, although they do leave him in the 1v1. So instead, we are going to be looking at the Quarry here. We're actually we're going to be seeing Marvin come in with this one as well. And K-Pud, we have to remember, does have a lot of that direct power damage. So, I mean, this could go either way, but I still kind of expect to see, I mean, PZ probably taking one of the first fights and then kind of going from there.
Yeah, we did just see a Time Warp. I believe that came out there from Marvin, and a lot of damage. Looks like the focus is going to be coming out onto Stalacta. They want to try and take him down. He does have Rebound left if he needs it, if he does get low, in fact. But of course, this will be a very long, drawn-out game. No doubt in my mind that this definitely could come down to a Lord kill or even just time out for that matter. Steel Illusion's actually getting a little low against Muffins in this 1v1. Muffins might be able to take him out.
Yeah, Steel Illusions does have that mantra though, so he's going to be able to get at least a little bit of his HP back, and still does have that block as well. And again, we have to account for that precog. So, I mean, this is definitely a situation that Steel could certainly delay it for a little bit longer, as we did see the Mantra come back up again. But Muffins does have the ability to take him down in just a short amount of time here, as he is now down to about 5k HP with a lot of conditions on him as well. And I think Muffins is going to be able to...
No, they're going to swap him. Really good play. I like that one from him. Olrun came in with the portal, got Steel, to the midpoint. And even so, he kept him alive, and now he's in a 1v1 with Zeus, which honestly won't take him out.
He should be able to get his health back for sure, especially, I mean, like, now that he gets his Mantra recovery back, he's going to be able to channel that one out, still has his shield block, should be fine for the meantime. Meanwhile, over on the quarry, actually, this team fight is still just, I mean, anyone's game at this stage. We're seeing still a 3v3 Feoff taking a lot of pressure here, but certainly going to be able to get probably some heals in just a matter of time here. He's dropping pretty quick, though, and they do manage to take him out there. K-Pud with the final hit, but
get him.
The res,
it looked like the stomp from Marvin possibly could happen. Too bad he didn't have time warp for that occasion. Regardless, they got him back up. They know they can take him out, but that's kind of as anticipated. And you get somebody down and you just know they're going to get the res, especially so early in a team fight. I want to say early in a team fight because of how long and drawn out these team fights are. Now K-Pud actually under a lot of pressure himself. Already used his heal in the glint stance. A lot of damage coming out onto Feoff. Once again, is he going to be able to keep himself alive? It looks like he does for the time being because of that resistance. He does have that shield block. Going to get it off. Should be able to get some heals from the rest of his team.
Oh man, Stahl picking him back up as well. I mean, had the rebound there as well. Didn't actually get the effect off, but certainly if he had taken any more damage, he would have been able to get that effect of the rebound as well. And then of course, get the same amount of heals there as he did from his teammate there, Stahl, on the Tempest. So great job from Stahl picking his teammate back up without him even getting down. So that's a huge play from him there, and still this fight will continue.
Let's just take a peek at the waterfall, see what's going on there. It looks like Olrun's having a bit more success in this matchup against Muffins. I feel like Olrun is kind of the more experienced player, the more experienced, I don't even want to say experienced Mesmer, because we know these guys don't have a lot of practice on Mesmer, but definitely more experienced player. That's why he's probably doing a little bit better in this matchup here.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, but you also have to account for that null field. That null field's going to take away a lot of the condition pressure that's going to be coming from Muffins, and you know, it's definitely going to help in the long run and keep him up a little bit longer. But still, over at the quarry, actually, Stalacta has gotten kind of low. K-Pud all over him right now. And it looks like Stahl's just doing everything he can to make sure that he gets back up to full health. Actually, his heal, Wash the Pain Away, was canceled there. The interrupt came out. They might take him down.
They might. Feoff's under a lot of pressure too. Are they going to be able to get the res? It looks like so, but Bear and Feoff take a lot of damage trying to go in for that. It really feels like Team PZ had the upper hand here.
And this is actually something that we kind of, you know, talked about with the Absurd there. And it's basically, here we go, and this is what I was just going to talk about, is that eventually, if you can just keep piling on the AoE pressure, I mean, yeah, certainly they're going to be able to get the reses, but if you keep getting them all low enough, eventually you're going to be able to wipe at least one guy, and then probably
snowball right off
of that, exactly.
And this now, one cap is going to be everything for Team PZ. We might never see Team Never Lucky ever take a point for that matter.
Yeah, basically, as long as you can make sure that you get these guys down consistently enough, you'll be able to basically really stack on that AoE pressure, and eventually it will lead to a wipe, or at least an opportunity for you to then snowball, as we were saying there. And now Stahl is going to be getting very low once again here with the 300 HP. He is going to be dropping, so this is, again, one of those opportunities there. They are going to get the stomp this time, however, and Steel now is left to deal with the, I mean, basically just an onslaught of damage there coming from K-Pud as he's going to go down to about 20%.
Gotta remember though, Bear and Feoff both went over to try and take out Marvin. Marvin is hands down probably one of the best of the bunker Mesmers for that matter. And
at least on NA for what this is right now.
100%. He is very difficult to deal with. Even two Revenants for that time being couldn't handle him. Now that Java's here, he is not going down anytime soon. But Steel Illusions was just eliminated at that midpoint.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to at least get a couple more ticks there towards the cap now, as Stahl is going to roll in here, as well as Feoff actually, and Bear, and they're going to try to get some damage down to Zeus. He's going to take it in stride here, still at about 60% HP. Doesn't actually have continuous split or Well of Eternity left at all now, so he's going to have to kind of rely on his teammates to get some peels, and they're going to put a ton of damage now into Feoff, who actually gets right back up to full health so quickly there from Stahl.
But look at Zeus actually throws down. I mean, he's doing okay now. They had a lot of condition pressure, but they were putting out a lot of pressure onto Zeus. And that one quarried node still ticking for Team PZ, giving them the lead they currently have. Olrun, meanwhile, still in that 1v1 against Muffins. I mean, I don't see this one going anywhere. I think this team fight is everything right now for Team Fate, Never Lucky rather. But Fayoff taken down, get him back up. This is just very difficult to come back from, even this early on, I want to say.
Zeus actually went out, got the portal, and kind of re-healed, which was a good play, but didn't make it back in time. So now his team is kind of one man down, and he's just kind of playing close to that node, just making sure that nobody rotates off there. K-Pud, in the meantime, is going to get pressured a lot because he doesn't have Zeus there to help him out, and he's now down to about 600 HP. Crystal Hibernation's not going to be enough. They're going to go for the res, and they get it there.
Instantly give it. I mean, there was no question, no doubt whatsoever that Marvin and Zeus weren't going to be able to get that. Even with Java there, there's not enough cleave in the world to be able to overcome that right here. And you know, we're 7 minutes in this game. It's almost 100-0 for Team PZ. At this point, if they could manage to get a cap on the side of Never Lucky, or even just get that decap at the core, it could still come down to a Lord kill.
Yeah, and looking over at Waterfall, actually, Muffins, aka what I'm going to call the anti-Mesmer here, taking Olrun down so low here, does have this point completely neutralized at the moment, but has been able to put so much pressure down that he might actually get the kill right now.
Oh, he does!
Steel Illusion certainly going to get him back up, but he has forced both of these Mesmers off of the node, and now Olrun has to make his way without a blink all the way over to the mid nodes there. Once again, we already saw what happens when a teammate goes away, and you gotta have that +1 sort of situation, and Fayoff took a lot of pressure for it there, and we're seeing the effects of it now as Fayoff still continuing to get so much pressure just kind of thrown at him almost incessantly here, as K-Pud taking a little bit himself, does have the support of his teammates as the precog comes out once again, and K-Pud gonna be back at a full HP here, and Muffin's going to be trading here.
Oh, a huge portal, though, coming out there from the side of Never Lucky. They're looking to take down Muffins. They know they need this kill. That was an excellent play. Look at the Conti sticking on, but that resistance keeping him alive for this time. But, oh, he is in the downstate. Java's coming in. They should be able to get the stomp. They are going to solidify the stomp for themselves, which gives them their first points of the game, but they still will not be able to get a cap here.
You know, something I'd really like to see right now, actually, is someone pulling off of this waterfall node and heading over towards that graveyard, and then allowing someone to pull off and hopefully get a decap on this quarry, but it doesn't look like they're making that play. So, you know, while they still managed to get that kill, there's no headway that's going to actually be made onto this waterfall, as they're all just skirmishing.
Muffins is back in the fight. He's going to easily be back in the fight, since this is the far node, or the home node,
rather. And that's why I think it would have been a great idea. He would have had to walk so far just to get over to that quarry or to the graveyard there, and they would have been able to get that decap for sure, at least in my opinion, or at least a couple of ticks towards the graveyard. And I mean, still, we're seeing not a whole lot of headway being made here on this waterfall node. K-Pud was down to about 20% HP, and
they've got to get something going now.
Exactly.
They've got to do something with those Mesmers. They can only afford to give them so much here, and even with the Lord kill at this point, wouldn't give them a lead.
Yeah, and this kind of meta is all about rotations and kind of taking advantage of these opportunities. When you get someone down, you have to take advantage, and if you don't, you're going to be falling behind. I mean, blue team was able to just kind of come back pretty freely here. K-Pud is going to go down. They're going to certainly go for the res and get him right back up, though. And it's because of this situation where they've left the quarry node just to be ticking throughout this entire game. When they had an opportunity there to actually get a decap, or at least kind of switch the map up a little bit so they can get a little bit more map control. Now they're going to be faced with Bear going down, and they might actually lose him there. They do.
Man.
The quickness stomp comes off. Zeus going to go ahead and secure that one. So again,
Olrun is looking for it, though. He might.
This is what he needed to do 2 minutes ago.
Might be able to. He does pick up the decap, but they still have to get a cap. They have to get an extraordinary amount of kills. A Lord, you know, with a Lord kill, or get a cap with a Lord kill. Even at that, I don't think there's any way they can get this. They have to get a cap. That is hands down the ultimate way they can win this game. But without that, there's no chance that they're going to win.
Yeah,
this.
I mean, they absolutely have to get that. And Fayoff getting very close to death here, as he's now about 20% HP. Does have Style next to him, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to go in for the res. They have a lot of pressure, though, and they're going to be able to get the stomp there. So yet another kill for this blue team PZ here, and we are going to be seeing, at least in my opinion, this match probably time out with PZ heavily in the lead.
Yeah, I just can't see anything else. Knowing that Fayoff has to come all the way across the map now to help out Selecta, if they want to continue to pressure this waterfall node, the biggest mistake right now that Team PZ could make would be to, you know, put too much pressure in one place and not account for the numbers of Never Lucky in other places, because they have such a substantial amount of lead. All they need to do to win this game is do exactly what they're doing right now, hold on to these decaps, and they've won the game.
Yeah, they just need to keep everything neutralized, and they're actually doing a very good job of that. Stalacta taking a lot of pressure there from K-Pud. K-Pud certainly going to be able to finish this one off. However, Muffins did go down, so Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get him back up, at least right now. The res
stop.
comes out.
Why do, oh, they do.
Oh, no.
They pick it up, but is it enough to actually get something going? Remember, they do have that 50-second respawn timer, but it's their home node. They got to get K-Pud out now, along with Java.
They do manage to take him down. Java's certainly not going to be able to res versus the pressure of 3 guys here, and K-Pud going to drop as well. Java going to be left for a 1v3. Are they going to be able to get this cap?
I don't know, because Muffins is off a respawn. Remember that great mobility?
I don't think that he's going to be walking into a 1v3 like that.
He's not. It looks like no. I even think with the cap, Never Lucky still has to get more. Olrun still in that 1v1. No. Steel Illusion still in his 1v1. The cap does not come out because Muffins comes into the fight regardless. Yeah, I think that was a big mistake on Never Lucky's part.
K-Pud now is going to be able to add to this as well, so you're going to be seeing a 2v2. Of course, that is going to be in favor of the team with the Tempest there, so that will be Never Lucky. However, they still have managed to pump so much damage now into Fayab. We're going to be seeing Steel Illusions actually add to this one as well. So we're going to be seeing this neutralized for quite some time, as we are going to be seeing Java come into this one as well. So basically actually just a mirror here of the 3v3 Tempest Rev versus Tempest Rev as Fayab now getting kind of low once again, 20% HP. Does get some heals there as his teammate did jump into water form there, and we are going to be seeing him get back up now to about 60%. Still kind of dropping though.
Even so, 2:20 left in this game. I think it might be over for Never Lucky. They need to start thinking about next game, what they're going to do differently, because honestly, that Quarry fight was the end of the game for them. If things continue as currently happening. If Fayab was taken down, got res right back up here. 2 minutes left in this game. Lord Kill will not seal the deal for Never Lucky. Only a cap and a Lord Kill at this point. But I don't see this happening here.
And we have to remember what this set means for Team PZ, because, I mean, if they're able to take this, especially 2-0, I mean, that would definitely mean a lot for them in terms of their morale going into this this little hiatus that we're going to have for the holidays. But, if they're able to take this, they're very well in the contest then for taking second place at the end of the season. I mean, they have that win over Spooky if Spooky can beat Apex, but it kind of comes down to the second match that we're going to be seeing, the second set rather, and
they'd be sitting at 2-2, and like you said, very important. But it really, also, it comes down to the Apex Spooky. That is a big matchup for PZ to even pay attention to and make sure that they're on the same page with that. But 1:15 left in this game. I believe we will be having Team PZ take this one, regardless of not having a cap in quite some time, and moving on to a second map, the Battle of Kylo. What kind of differences do these teams have to make in terms of adjustments? Because there could have potentially been a Lord Kill at the end of the game if the lead hadn't been so large for Team PZ here, but that's not the case on Kylo.
Yeah, I mean, with 50 seconds left, we're most assuredly going to be able to say that, PZ is going to be taking this one and going into the second map then. But, in this particular matchup, I mean, Faded needs to make sure, or rather Never Lucky, sorry, I forgot their name change there, but, they need to make sure that they're taking advantage of any opportunity that they get. I mean, it was a huge play for Olrun to pull off and grab the decap on that Quarry that they've been able to keep neutralized throughout ever since. But, if he would have been able to do that a lot sooner, they might have been in a situation where, they might have had another cap perhaps from Graveyard, or they would have had to choose.
Be them. The biggest thing would have been to send somebody from the waterfall over to the midpoint, because there's only one guy there. He would have had to choose to give up the midpoint or give up the decap over the Quarry. That would have been the perfect opportunity for them to do something, but weren't able to capitalize on it. And we will have Team PZ taking game number 1 over Never Lucky, 199-20. All points on the side of Never Lucky coming out from kills, attrition itself. How do you think these teams are going to be able to fare against each other coming on to the Battle of Kylo?
Kylo's definitely a little bit of a different beast than Legacy of the Foe Fire, at least for this type of composition. But, I still think that it's going to be PZ on top. I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of some of those opportunities that, Never Lucky kind of struggled with taking advantage of. And I think that PZ is, at least at this point, just the better team.
I think so as well, but it's all going to come down to, as you mentioned before, everything in this meta right now is about rotations and who has the better rotations, and we didn't see Never Lucky really capitalize on it. And on the side of PZ, they didn't really need to make any huge rotations because they held that core. I mean, they made average rotations, normal rotations most teams probably would have made, and they didn't need to do anything outside of the box like Never Lucky did to get back into that one. So we'll have to see if any adjustments will come out from either of these teams. Let's head on to our second map on the Battle of Kylo as we have both teams joined up here and raring to go. Give me I mean, you told me that you thought Team PZ would win, and no changes are going to be coming out from either team. But what adjustments do you think Never Lucky needs to make right now moving into the second map?
I mean, it really just kind of comes down to rotations. I thought they had a pretty interesting split with the Mesmers going off by themselves, and then of course the Tempest staying with the Revenant. But I mean, when you kind of lose your foothold in that opening split there, and you lose a cap, you need to make sure that you're playing for that retake. You got to get that neutralized as fast as humanly possible and do whatever it takes. I mean, Muffins was just the man that game, taking Mesmer after Mesmer and pushing them off that waterfall node and controlling it for his team. That was such a great play throughout pretty much the whole game there from Muffins. And I would actually go as far as say is that Muffins secured that game for them by just making sure that he kept those Mesmers at bay and put them down to 20%, making them pull off at some of those team fights. And that kind of made all the difference, at least in my eyes, that I think Muffins was the man of the match last time.
I think we're going to be seeing the same thing in terms of how this match is decided. I think it's going to come down to one team fight and whoever is getting that node itself, because beyond that, it's very difficult for somebody to even come back. I mean, even on this map, it's very difficult for that matter. Now, Treb could more than likely come into play. We haven't seen a whole lot of it, but with this meta, I think we could definitely see some of that with some portal plays, going to repair the Treb even for that matter if people want to take it down. We'll have to see how teams decide to do that as we wait for them to ready up here. But I think Never Lucky could take this. I really do, but as I said, it's all going to come down to this first team fight, rather, where teams are going to move. It might be a 2-1-2 split for both these teams, who knows? But if it is a 3v3 or 4v4 on some node, I think it's going to come down to that.
And look at K-Bud's pretty wings.
Legendary himself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map as we look at the opening splits for match number 2 on the Battle of Kylo. It looks like Zeus going to go an odd way to that clock tower. We're going to have Muffins capping the mansion for his team. Meanwhile, we'll Steel Illusions capping that windmill. And a 3-man split as expected for both of these teams.
Yeah, that Mesmer needs to hurry up there because we've got an all-out assault here from Bear and Stal onto Muffins. And Muffins actually doing a good job of maintaining himself there a little bit and making sure that he's not going to be going down anytime soon. And still actually putting down a lot of counter pressure there on Bear as well. And I'm not really sure. I mean, Zeus right now is that celestial Mesmer that we were talking about, that chrono there, and so he's going to have a little bit of pressure to add to this fight himself as well. He's not, he's not the Sentinel build that we're used to seeing at all. So he's, like I said, going to have a little bit of pressure there.
And Marvin are running that. On the other side, Never Lucky both running the Sentinels, so they're not going to be able to put out much pressure at all. But Muffin's he is under a bit of pressure over here. So is Bear. Bear actually might be taken out, able to cleanse some condies, but nonetheless is fairly low. We'll have to see if he is able to keep himself alive for the time being. And Feoff as well, very low on the windmill as well. So Never Lucky, not a very strong start in terms of health pools.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, you know, if Bear does go down, Selecta is certainly not going to have the same rezzing power as if Muffins goes down, which might be the case there, and Zeus going to be able to go for that res, and I'm not sure about it. Does actually manage to get it, you know, thankfully, because Muffins was able to land that 2 in downstate, push him off. However, Feoff right now getting incredibly low, does go down as well. Steel Illusions is the Mesmer that is going to go for that res, and he's going to be able to secure it there.
Oh no,
they push him off.
Knocked back. He should still be able to get this if you ask me. No, I don't think this is happening anytime
Knocked
soon.
back again, boys.
K-Pud doing a really good job with Java. They are going to solidify it, and that windmill fight, I think, will be everything for this game. Unless Never Lucky cleans up the fight at Mansion sometime soon, it's going to be really difficult for them to come back right here.
Yeah, these Revenants from PZ are just monsters here. At least in the NA side, these guys are probably some of the best Revenants out there, at least in my opinion. I mean, Muffins and K-Pud so good at controlling some of these skirmishes, even 2v2 as well. And Muffins right now taking a little bit of pressure, though. Zeus doing a good job of at least keeping him alive with some of that support there. However, he's still taking a lot of pressure. If he does go down again, I think that Zeus is going to be able to get him back up. We'll have to see, as he is about to go down here from these conditions, but the resistance.
Alive. Zeus going in for the res. He does manage to pick him up once again on the other side of the map, though. Ulrun was taking the downstate. Java going in for the stomp, gonna pick that up. Didn't look like much of a res attempt coming out there from Feoff, and now they are at a huge disadvantage. Steel Illusions able to pick up a couple of takes. Nice gravity well to get Java off the point, almost gets to cap himself. It looks like he did get the full cap, and Never Lucky picking up their first full cap of the match. I was wrong. They're able to get one here. We'll have to see if this becomes a game from this.
This is their first full cap of the set, actually. It's going to be a question of how long they're going to be able to hold on to it here, as Fayov is getting kind of low. Does get the portal out and is actually going for the decap. However, Marvin is going to be able to see that and make the adjustment and, you know, force himself back over, and now going to be able to take the 1v2 actually, as Steel goes ahead and makes the same rotation here. However, I mean, Fayov right now is stuck, and they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure down onto Marvin. We have to remember that he's not running that Sentinels build as before. He's running that Celestial build, so he's going to be able to take a little bit more pressure than we're used to seeing Marvin take. And right now, he's going to be dropping to about 20%. Java going to try to make his move and rotate over to help his teammate out. A lot of heals coming from that Tempest, but
regardless, mid was just decapped. It looked like Team PZ won the fight over at the mansion, got the kill onto Stalacta. They have a 2-cap now with the decap. Olrun was not able to hold on to it at the midpoint, probably forced off of it. He is going to go into the downstate.
Oh, man,
we could potentially see a 3-cap from Team PZ, who are wiping the board now. They get Olrun back up, but a 2-cap nonetheless. This is going to be a very big, struggle here for Team Never Lucky.
Yeah, and despite the fact that they got Olrun back up, Bear's going to take a lot of pressure, and now he's going to be going down as well, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to have, any type of play there to make and getting him back up, and now it's just going to be Fayov and Steel here left to take on K-Put and Java, and we have to remember what happened the last time we saw this matchup, and it was in favor of PZ. Now Zeus going to add to it, as well as Stalacta though, so kind of maybe switching things around a little bit there, but Fayov taking a lot of pressure, Steel taking a little bit as well, and it looks pretty handedly in blue team's favor here, at least so far, as we do see a portal come out and Steel go back over and help Fayov out with that fight against Muffins, who
at this point, what do you do if you're Never Lucky? I mean, this is such a difficult
this fight against Muffins, actually.
If they're able to, but Java's in the area. We've seen how many times Java's gotten these reses. Now Bear's in the area. If they're able to take him down, I don't think Java's going to be able to get the res himself. Stalacta's coming over here as well, so we're going to see 4 members of Never Lucky taking on 2 of Team PZ, and they're managing to stay alive. Muffin's going to be taken in and downstate. I don't think Java's going to be able to get this res. There's too much damage on the side of Never Lucky. Pick up a kill for themselves once again, but already getting down so much early on in this game.
Yeah, and Java is going to be able to maybe maintain himself a little bit with the help of the Mesmer. However, he does go down. They're going to go for the res, and Fuse Light is down as well. They get him right back up. He's going to go for some heals as well, as he's in water attunement there. Still getting chased, though, by these Revenants, as he's now at about 20%. Still, it's just going to be pulling them around wherever he wants to take them. And you have to remember, this is still a 2-cap in favor of PZ. They're just...
Oh my goodness, K-Put is a monster, taking down Fayov there with the Surge of the Mist. Going to bring down the CC as well, but to stop the kill onto Fayov will connect. And once again, we will see Team TZ drive out the remainder of Never Lucky, and K-Pud still on top of Bear along with Java. K-Pud all over the map right here, doing what he tries to do best. Steel Illusion's going to pick up the decap regardless at the windmill, which is some progress, but we're yet to see another cap from Never Lucky.
Bear now getting kind of low here. Olrun trying to get some support to him, but just I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, as he does drop there. They're going to go for the pressure here and maybe go for a stomp as well. It looks like they might actually manage it. They have a lot of pressure down on him now. Looks like they're going to be able to get Bear back up though, putting down a gravity well just to secure it there. And it looks like, actually I think that was a double gravity well there from Olrun, not sure yet. But, despite that, blue team still has the upper hand because of the cooldowns used just to get their teammate back up in this part of the game here. But, 250 points right now.
Over a 200-point lead right now. 830, under 830 actually left in this game right here. And that 1 cap still going on the side of Never Lucky, who I think need to try at some point for a decap here, but Muffins gets back up as we saw Marvin bring out the res onto him over here at the windmill. Still got this 2v2 going on between Steel and Fayov. I really think this is still in favor of Team PZ, but Muffin's getting pretty low here. Needs to be very careful, but regardless, Muffins is going to get him back up no matter what happens. Back to the midpoint there. Bear might get stomped here from Zeus. It will connect, and they will probably end up taking that clock tower.
Yeah, and Stalacta's getting pressured pretty hard as well, and he's going to be chased around there by K-Pud. The pressure that comes out from K-Pud's build, we have to remember, isn't actually that condition damage, so it's going to be a lot of damage just incessantly. He's going to be able to maintain it because he's Marauder, and it's going to be a lot of instantaneous pressure as well, and that's going to be the reason why he's going to be able to take Stalacta out right here. And now he's going to be going down here, and they're going to be able to go for the stomp as well, securing yet another kill with the 2-cap now in favor of PZ.
I like that on the side of TZ, taking that Marauder amulet, having a different source of damage that a whole lot of teams might not entirely account for. You know, that diamond skin on the side of Stalacta, even that would help him against, you know, a Viper's amulet for that matter, but that straight up power damage from K-Pud is what makes him so valuable to this team. I mean, even if he ran Vipers, he'd be just as valuable, but he's so good at what he's been doing all game long, and now building up to a 300-point lead here for Team PZ. This is brutal for Never Lucky.
Yeah, and I think they felt pretty confident going into this matchup, but PZ has made sure that they're not leaving it in the same regard. You know, they've done a lot of work so far in making sure that they've stood up and basically proved that they're a team that can make it through first of all, make it through the qualifiers into the Pro League, but also then prove that they're potentially even a second place team. We'll have to see what happens. However, we did just see Bear get back up from the downstate there, back up at 100% HP. A lot of cooldowns used on the side of this Never Lucky team here, and Olrun getting pretty low in this 1v1 versus K-Pud. Actually, these Revenants are actually doing a lot of work versus this Mesmer, this double Mesmer here, and Olrun's going to be forced to leave that clock tower with about 10%, as well as his tail between his legs, at least right now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, going into this match, from Never Lucky's perspective, honestly, I felt like it was a relatively balanced team against each other. With how good Never Lucky did last week, I feel like they're going into this match feeling pretty good about themselves. They're still a really good team. Maybe not getting into the top 2 contention after this loss, but Team PZ is definitely up there, and they can't get too down on themselves about this loss. This is a very good Team PZ.
Yeah, and you know, we're seeing a lot of Never Lucky kind of play with the portals a little bit more so now. However, it just doesn't look like there's any hope for them, as every time they come through the portals, every time Olrun tries to make an adjustment, there's always someone waiting there for him, and he's never going to be able to get out of combat, and he's never going to be able to get back to full health so he can enter a fight fresh. And the implications of that are going to be that eventually K-Pud's going to catch up, and he's going to take him down, but it's just not yet, it seems.
Indeed, and now over a 400-point lead on the side of Team PZ, who will be taking the second game from Never Lucky unless a miracle comes out on their side with 5 minutes remaining in this second match. But a 2-0 victory here means so much for Team PZ, moving to 2-2, having some contention at least against the top dogs for a top 2 spot, as you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Olrun right now, it's basically looking like K-Pud is just a bully, just chasing around Olrun just all across the map right now. He's just trying to take him out. Olrun has yet to, you know, at least get any sort of headway in terms of getting away from him right now, and he's going to be sitting at 30% HP for basically forever. Finally manages to go ahead and get the portal and push off, and that's actually a huge play. Is he going to make it to get the double decap? Is this a huge play?
I don't know.
One tick away there. That would have been actually really cool to see.
Interesting to see,
man.
But 1 kill, even at that, from PZ would have given the victory regardless. And Team PZ going to be claiming a 2-0 victory over Never Lucky, 501-30. Congratulations to them. Going to be moving to 2-2, while Never Lucky will be dropping to 1-3 in their records. What do you have to say about that set that we just saw?
You know, I mean, PZ definitely showing what they have to bring to the table, at least for the rest of the season. They struggled a little bit. Like we said, both these teams actually struggled a little bit in those first 2 weeks there. And PZ proving that they have the ability to take, you know, kind of a couple strides away from those teams towards the bottom of the pack and push away from that 5th place slot that they've been kind of stuck in. And, you know, PZ has a couple of matches that I think they should be able to win. And this is a huge week for them because taking a game off of Never Lucky, that was a team that they really had to kind of put everything into and make sure that they won, because that was a team that could have potentially been a brick wall for them. And you know, going forward, they have to make sure that they're watching the next matchup, because that's going to be just as important for them, Apex versus Spooky.
As you were saying, Apex versus Spooky, as you were just mentioning, you know, a huge matchup, big implications for even Team PZ for that matter. Both of these teams sitting at 2-1. What do you have to say about these teams? Apex Prime is really struggling last week. Spooky trying to find themselves as well. These are 2 teams that, honestly, I don't feel like they're in their prime, but they need to be it for this match.
Yeah, Apex actually pulling out all the stops this week. I know they've been trying a lot of different things over the past week, and then, you know, they've been kind of known for taking these kind of sort of weird comps into it. I mean, running that Necromancer, running the Dragon Hunter, both at the same time even. That's definitely not something you see quite often, or at least not anymore. And they're like I said, pulling out all the stops this week, they're going to be making sure that they're putting everything into it because they need to win this game just as badly as Spooky does to make sure that they can contend with PZ.
Indeed, both these teams needing a victory. Guys, we are going to head to a short break, and when we're back, we will have Apex Prime up against Spooky. Stay with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Guild Wars 2 ESL Pro League for North America. We have our next set ready for you. Apex Prime up against Spooky. As we mentioned earlier, both teams sitting at 2-1 in the standings. This match means a lot for them.
Yeah, and not only to them, we talked about the implications of how other teams will kind of fall because of this matchup, and it's not just PZ, it's a lot of other teams as well that could kind of benefit from one team losing or winning in this situation. However, let's go ahead and look at the map, actually, as both teams have gotten in here. So, I mean, looking at it right now, looking at the compositions, we're seeing
A completely different Apex Prime.
eerily similar on both sides. However, yes, a very changed Apex Prime here, as we are going to be seeing the only switches I actually see is just Morpheus and Ostrich there. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly the same, at least in my...
Well, even so, that changes up the entirety of how their team works, and I mean that's with every team composition. But like you said, just Ostrich actually switching to the Mesmers, but changing to what they need to be playing right now to have to deal with some of this stuff on the side of Spooky.
Yeah, and these guys are playing something a little bit differently here, and we'll go over that in just a second. First off, starting here with Quilcha, going to be playing the Staff as he's known to playing, and Quilcha's kind of always played something a little bit differently than what a lot of people do, but he's actually kind of always made sure that he was still being very effective, and he's going to be playing that Staff Tempest, like I said, Rune of Soldier, Celestial Amulet, nothing changed there, Water, Earth, and the Tempest there, so again, nothing changed in that regard. Going for actually the 5 shouts there, though, a little bit different, like I said, than what you are used to seeing, but looking then at Trackful, going to be playing the Viper Revenant for this team here, going with Sword Shield with the Mace Axe, and Rune of Durability, of course, Corruption, Retribution, and Herald for his trait lines there. And looking now at Morph, the first 2 Mesmers for Apex, the first time that we've seen Apex run 2 Mesmers since we saw Knight, actually, on this team, and that feels like quite a long time ago now, but he's going to be playing that Sword Shield Staff there, Rune of Durability, and Sentinel Amulet there with Inspiration, Chaos, and Chronomancer. And again, this is kind of a little bit different, as we are going to be seeing him take up that Well of Recall and the Well of Precognition there, which is something that we don't see a lot of Mesmers doing, at least not right now. And Ostrich is going to be doing the same thing as well with Sword Shield Staff, Rune of Durability, Sentinel Amulet, same trait lines there. And
he will be taking no field, though.
No field. This is it. Yeah. So this is a little bit more what we're used to seeing. However, Morph looks like he's going to be decided to take that Well of Recall instead. However, looking now at Tarsus, he's going to be the second Revenant, going for the Marauder. So basically the same composition that we saw actually as just before with PZ. However, their Mesmer builds are really going to be the only thing different in that regard. However, this is going to be Sword Shield, Staff, Rune of Durability, Marauder, Amulet, going with Devastation, Invocation, and Herald there.
Let us take a look at Spooky over on the blue. First up, we have Mime on the Mesmer running the Sword Shield with the Staff. Going to be taking Celestial Amulet for himself with Rune of Durability. He'll be taking Inspiration, Chaos, and Chronomancer. Schnicky going to be the Elementalist for this team, running with that Dagger Focus. Rune of the Soldier, Celestial Amulet. He'll be taking Earth, Water, and Tempest. He'll be taking the FGS, though. We don't often see this, but he wants that mobility for his team. Even Downstate Cleave, for that matter, it helps out for him specifically. So we'll have to see how he fares with that. Next up, Sunfish, that would be Sun Mist, going to be the Revenant for this team, running with the Sword Shield, Mace Axe, going to be taking Rune of Durability, Viper's Amulet taking Retribution, Corruption, and Herald. Happy Hit Kid, probably going to be running, no, he's going to be taking Marauder for himself, running with the Sword Shield Staff, Rune of Durability, and Marauder Amulet, running Devastation, Invocation, and Herald. And finally, Physics would be that second Mesmer, going to be taking the Sword Shield with the Staff, running Rune of Durability, and Sentinel's Amulet. So they have a Sentinel's and a Celestial. He'll be taking Inspiration, Chaos, and Chronomancer. So what do you think about that? We've either seen 2 Sentinels or 2 Celestial. Now we have one of each on the side of Spooky.
Yeah, the reason Physics likes to take that Sentinels is because, you know, he likes to kind of be that person who can tank a lot of damage over the course of, you know, pretty much forever, eternally almost, and he's going to be probably the person to kind of stay back and make sure that he can, you know, sustain alone and play off the portals there, and that's what he kind of likes to do, whereas Mime is typically more apt to kind of be, at least in my opinion, in those team fights, as he is going to be bringing that gravity well there, so he's going to have a lot in terms of adding to that team fight, and I mean, honestly, the thing to take away, at least at this point, is that, I mean, both of these Mesmers from Apex are going to be running the precog, and Happy isn't going to be able to have the same effect as what we saw with, you know, at least K-Put and Muffins, at least in my opinion. I think we're going to be seeing them kind of struggle a little bit more on the Mesmers this time around. However, they do have the upper hand in terms of Morph and Ostrich not having as much experience.
Taking a look at the opening splits on map number 1, it looks like Ostrich Eggs heading for the quarry, Schnicky heading to the waterfall, and going to be seeing a 1-1-3 coming out there for Spooky and a 1-3-1 coming out on this side of Apex Prime. Going back onto the map now, let's go ahead and take a look at what these members of Spooky are looking to accomplish against Ostrich Eggs over here at the quarry.
Yeah, and already we're seeing him get down to about 50% HP, and that's not a spot you want to be at all, and he's going to be giving up a lot of that cap as well, a little bit, at least for now, because
using
of that,
the time warp as well, and he didn't even continue him split.
He's getting pretty close to getting out of cooldowns. I mean, you pretty much always have Mantra Recovery up. However, he's out of no field, he's out of time warp, he's out of continuum split.
I am appalled that he did not continuum split with the time warp there and doesn't have it again, but regardless, is going to be okay despite that, you know, kind of scare at the opening of this game. Taking a look at the waterfall, though, got a bit of a skirmish going on over here as Happy Kid portals back to the midpoint, looking to take down Trackful now, who's under a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, and Trackful is going to be in trouble, and there's no hope for him. They're going to be able to get this one for sure. Tars is going to be able to roll in, but he's rolling that hammer, and I don't really think that he's going to be able to do very much, at least not yet. However, he's going to go for the res with Quilljar. They're going to have enough, and I don't really think that that's going to be the case, as we are going to be seeing Trackful eliminated here, and now they're going to be looking to take on Tarsus. He's going to be the next target for sure, and they are now putting a lot of pressure on him. However, Happy needs to be kind of careful here, as he's down to about 50% HP as well, and it's just a matter of time before Trackful is going to be able to come back up and add to this one once again.
Hammer is a very risky weapon. While it does massive damage, it's a risky weapon that might not work for you in the end, but Tarsus is a very good player, so it could indeed. Kulja, though, taken down. It looks like Trackful going to try and get the res along with Tarsus, but I don't think it's going to happen, and the Stomp will come out there on the side of Spooky, who now have a 10-0 lead just 2 minutes into this game, purely from Stomps and Apex Prime. Not looking too great right here.
Yeah, Tarsus is going to be going down here as well, and he's going to be pushing off Happy just to maybe get a couple of seconds up, but Happy's going to go ahead and go and get that last couple of seconds of the frame there from Stomp there. But, you know, looking now at the mid-fight here, it kind of looks like we're seeing a lot of headway here being made for Team Spooky as they take down Trackful the second time, and they're going to be able to get this cap, and we have to remember this cap means everything.
Oh, they didn't get it though. Quilter gets on the point with 1 tick remaining, even without Lightning Flash, has all of his shouts available to him, but he needs to avoid, oh god, barely gets away with that stun break there, and look, like, he didn't even get his shots off. He was CC'd for so long, and now the cap will come out in favor of Spooky. Back at Quarry, though, it looks like Tarsus and Mime going to be in a 1v1. Ostrich Eggs looking to come back. I think he should have made a move to the midpoint way earlier than he currently did, because that node was long gone before he even made the move there.
Yeah, and Spooky's Mesmer is doing so well here and making sure, actually, we are pretty interesting 1v1 over at the waterfall. However, looking still at the quarry, we are seeing actually Happy Kid chase down both Tarsus and Trackful here as they're getting pretty low. Tarsus now at about 50% HP does have that Herald heal, so he can go back up to full health if the pursuit continues. However, now it looks like they're going to try to put a lot of counter pressure down onto Happy Kid, who's now going to be going into that shield block there. Trackful going to try to finish that one up, and they almost get him, but a lot of heal being pushed into him. And still, that one cap taking away for this blue team here. Spooky pulling away slowly, and we have to remember.
Happy Kid goes down though. There is a time warp on the side of Ostrich Eggs, but they're not in a good spot for it, and it looks like the time warp goes down, and they get him back up. Very crucial play for Spooky to keep themselves alive over at the quarry.
We saw this kind of same situation happen actually just in the last set, where this 1 point was just kind of left to tick for so long, and a lot of these fights are just neutralized. I mean, the skirmish is kind of just stalemate for a long period of time, and this cap honestly could mean everything. We could even see this game timeout where red team is not going to be able to get anything, and we could see it just be 300-0 or
it's like the last match we saw almost. And Happy Kid now under a whole lot of pressure, a lot of damage coming out from Tarsus and Trackful, who need to be careful themselves. It looks like he's going to use that shield block, get himself back up to 100% HP, and all remains the same over here. Now I think on the side of Apex Prime, need to try some attempt at a decap, but Spooky's doing a really good job of keeping themselves aware of where the members on the side of Apex are. And we do see Happy Kid going into the downstate, a lot of damage coming out from both sides, and it looks like the res, once again, getting him back up.
Yeah, Apex actually doing a good job here. They've, I mean, honestly, looking back to what we were talking about with Abjurd's kind of solution to what kind of goes on with this particular composition is that if you get this like kind of one or two guys down at a time and just keep focusing down the AoE pressure, you're eventually going to get these guys into a situation where they've run out of cooldowns, and eventually you'll be able to actually get a team wipe out of it, and Fuse Light won't be up.
The
They
stomp,
finally
though.
do get the stomp off on Sunmist there, and now they're going to be able to potentially create a little bit of a snowball effect here.
The thing is, remember, this is the home node for Apex Prime. That's really, really crucial, because now Sunmist has to go all the way across the map if he wants to get there in time. They have to take care of business, though. Remember, Mime's still there, so is Schnicky, and so is Happy Kid. And Happy Kid actually under a lot of pressure now, might be taken out. 2,500 health is going to get ported up to Quilja, but is it enough? It looks like some heals from Schnicky going to keep him alive for the time being, and he should be to safety without a problem whatsoever. And once again, Spooky saved with a member coming off of respawn now, and honestly, I think that was maybe a little bit of bad rotation on the side of Apex Prime to maybe move out of that quarry node a little too early.
Yeah, they definitely need to get that cap for sure, just to at least, you know, kind of keep the gap as it is right now. They don't want to get it too far away, but you know, that is going to be the case, as they did not manage to get that cap in time, and now we're going to be seeing a Mesmer from Team Spooky bunkering on that in just a matter of time perhaps. However, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It's going to be Sunfish and Happy Kid moving in here instead. Sunfish and, Tarsus and Ostrich are going to be the ones to take that 2v2. However, we're going to be seeing Trackful actually move over and try to help this one out, as Ostrich did take a lot of pressure and Tarsus wasn't looking too healthy either.
They just portaled one of them out, for that matter. We are going to see the Continuum split time warp coming out there for Ostrich Eggs, as Mime is the last member remaining on this team. He does have Gravity Well left to keep himself alive, but is it going to be enough, as there's one tick away from a full cap on the side of Apex Prime, who need this cap desperately to keep themselves in this game, but Schnicky in the area as well. I don't think this is going to be coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be neutralized for a very long period of time. Schnicky taking a lot of pressure, but I mean, if at any point he does go down, Mime's going to be able to provide some good res utility there to get him back up. However, Mime taking a little bit of pressure, and it looks like he might actually go down. Looks like Schnicky going to be able to get a lot of heals towards his teammate there and take a spot, but it looks like I'm not so sure if they might actually get the cap. If he goes invul, they're going to get it there, and they do manage to get. Ooh.
Oh, he's staying alive somehow. Schnicky with minimal health.
Mime helped him out there as well, but Schnicky has no cooldowns left, so he's going to go down. Mime's going to be leaving this one. Happy Kid going for the res, but probably not going to be able to get it.
Oh, they're going to portal him through, and Happy Kid, they're going to give up the cap, and in exchange, they will get their member back up. That exchange, it might cost him in the end if a Lord Kill comes to play, but a lot of time still left in this game. A lot of plays could be made on the side of both of these teams.
Yeah, and they're just going to try to hold this fight on the quarry, because as long as they do this, all they have to do is basically just keep the pressure up and just keep everything else neutralized, make sure that no one else goes to that waterfall there. However, we're seeing Apex pull off and try to get something going there. Trackful goes down, Quilja going for the res, but he might actually go down as well, as he's now at about 30% HP there. And we actually see Trackful getting back up slowly. They're trying to get him knocked back
there from Sunfish, if I'm not mistaken. No, that was from Happy Kid, rather. As he is running the Marauder ammo. Now, OX forced to portal back to the quarry, going to get the full reset. Regardless, still a huge push coming out here from Apex Prime on the waterfall. I think it would benefit them to fight these sides rather than the midpoint. I think that's their best chance at getting another node. But they want that decap so badly at the graveyard. With 6:45 left in this game, what do they have to do to try and get themselves back in this one?
First of all, they have to get Happy Kid pushed off and Ostrich away from this quarry, so that they can at least get some more pressure focused around the map. Because, I mean, right now they're spread way too thin at this point now to get anything going in terms of a retake. They need to make sure that they get this graveyard neutralized as soon as humanly possible. But with, you know, Tarsus taking all this pressure here, if he goes down, that might be their chances just completely gone, in terms of, I mean, the fact that if he goes down, that's just more time not on the clock at that point.
With 6 minutes left in this one, another mid-fight going to be emerging, as Tarsus was able to keep himself alive. Still hasn't used that heal as he can at any point. That he takes a lot of damage. Now Trackful is the one under a lot of pressure. Oh, he gets bursted down there by Happy Kid, and it looks like no res will be coming out on the side of Apex Prime, as Quilja attempted for it, but wasn't able to pick that one up. And once again, the lead continuing with these kills, gradually building for Spooky, but Apex Prime with Tarsus going down as well, just around the midpoint. Nobody's in the area, and Apex Prime they're just lost right here. They can't get themselves another node, and I think they did that. Quarry, able to get Quarry, was just a little too late there.
Yeah, and the avalanche has started as Quilja goes down as well. Tarsus still getting bled out here, so they're going to be able to move on to this waterfall and perhaps even take that one down. If they get that 2 cap, I mean, it's completely over for Apex. I mean, I would even go as far as to say as right now it's over for them. I don't see anything happening in terms of a miracle for them. I mean, obviously, there's always the possibility of them going for a Lord. They're going to be able to hold this this 1-to-1 for quite some time. But if they do lose that waterfall node here, they're going to be
even with the Lord kill, it won't be a victory for them.
Yeah.
You got to keep that in mind and remember, it's going to take something more. It's going to take a decap at the graveyard. It's going to take a lot of kills, or it's going to take a cap at the waterfall. And all the while, they can't afford to give up quarry, and that's just the predicament you're put in at this stage of the game. When you give up that first cap, as we saw in the last 2 games, it's so difficult to get yourselves back in the game that it's like, at that point, it's almost over from that first cap.
Yeah, and Mime's going to be able to portal his teammates into this waterfall and actually go ahead, and they're going to probably win this one as Morph goes down and Quilja goes down as well. There, Ostrich going to come over, but I mean, I don't think that he has enough. He's going to portal his teammate out here, and they're going to be going over toward the midpoint. They do manage to get Quilja back up, and they portal right on back. Great timing from Apex Prime there, getting right back into it, and Trackful now is going to add to it. Quilja taking a lot of pressure, even still though, is going to be forced into water here, and looks like they are able to interrupt at least the overload, so he's not going to be able to get back up to full health for free.
But with Mime coming into the mix, it looked like the advantage was in Apex Prime with neither Mesmer at this node, but now Mime's here, so going to be able to keep them alive. And remember, even if they manage to get a kill or 2 onto the side of Spooky, this is their home node. They're going to be there in 20-25 seconds, 30 at the latest, and be back up into this fight. So it would be so difficult for them to get this node at this stage of the game. With 3:30 left in the game, they've got to do something here and now, otherwise it will be 1-0 in favor of Spooky moving on to the Battle of Kylo.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to this this waterfall fight, doesn't it? I mean, Ostrich right now doing a good job of maintaining and kind of keeping his team, you know, looking healthy, at least for right now. Quilja doing the same with all the heals and the support, especially with the auras there. But, you know, I just don't know if it's enough here. They are able to get Happy down pretty low here. He doesn't have a heal from Herald, and he just swapped into Shiro there, and he's going to go down, of course, here, as we are going to be seeing the res come out as well. So he's going to be back up, and the portal's going to come out as well.
I mean, that was the one and only shot if they're able to take him down. Now he's looking healthy, and they're actually focusing down Sunfish right now. As Happy Kid's back at the midpoint here, and they're going to trade out. It looks like Mime coming back here, and both Mesmers on the side of Spooky at this waterfall node. With, you know, Happy Kid sitting at the mid node, there's no way Morph can do anything to him. Given that the predicament they're in right here, I'd safe to say that Spooky's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, and as they just left a lot of bunk utility there on the waterfall with Schnicky and Mime there, as well as Physics, and now they're going to send their 2 Revenants now to take on Morph in the 2v1 here. And honestly, I think that might be enough to take him down. If they can get this neutralized, it's game over for sure. I mean, at this point, I would even say it's game over, but for sure, if they're able to get the decap, then it is definitely game over.
Nearly down 200 points, just under that for Apex Prime, who Morph throwing down the second time warp before the first one actually expires. But, you know, I mean, it's not like this is basically the first competitive match on these classes, I would say, for Morph and Ostrich Eggs. And given that, you're going up against a Mime who has a lot of experience on Mesmer. Heck, it was his main class in Physics, who has also a lot of experience on it. So given that, they've got to make up for it elsewhere, and they're just not doing it.
Yeah, Schnicky was taking a lot of heat, but again, this is a lot of utility coming out from Physics and Schnicky to kind of stay alive, and as long as they keep this neutralized, they're doing their job exactly as they should. Looks like we did see Apex kind of push everybody off the quarry node, which is good for them, but unfortunately it's going to be too slow, as they're going to be trying a last-ditch effort, throwing everything that they've got onto this waterfall here, and it is going to be probably not enough, as it is still 200 points away, and they don't even have time to even try to go for a Lord push now because of that double precog that we
Well, with a Lord push, nothing
Spooky
would even help for Apex Prime. I mean, it might, you know, they might lose less pips in the end, but regardless, Spooky's got this one in the bag here. And moving on to the Battle of Kylo, it's going to be a tough one once again for Apex Prime. They've got to make sure they don't lose. I mean, they should have saw that in the last game, that whoever lost that first team fight, whoever gave up the first node, won the games. That held true, and that's going to hold true for this one as well. So we'll have to see if any adjustments, major adjustments, even team composition for that matter, will be coming out for Apex Prime, as 30 seconds remaining in this game, as the timer might take this one for these teams.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing, with 20 seconds left, Spooky moving into the second map here, 1-0, and this is, I mean, we have to remember a huge thing for them because, I mean, they are, I mean, PZ and Spooky, PZ, Spooky, and Apex are all kind of competing with one another. Easy Peasy still kind of in that same discussion as well, but right now these three teams are kind of looking at each other as to, you know, where they're going to be, at least trying to get into that second place slot, of course, and I mean, if Spooky takes this one, they're going to be looking for a PZ in the next 3 weeks, and even at the Absurd, because, I mean, that's really the game they have to win to make sure that they take that second spot.
They still have to watch out for Apex Prime, though, on the Battle of Kylo. With Spooky up 1-0, though, Apex Prime still a very dangerous team. Still a lot of experience on it, and I think they could come out with a victory here with a couple changes. And I don't think we're going to see, personally, I don't think we'll see any comp changes on their side. I think they know that they need to be running this right here. Just maybe some different rotations and who they put in each team fight at the start of this one.
Yeah, and I think Spooky was just doing a lot better of a job at that. I mean, we looked at that mid fight. They were just getting kill after kill after kill after kill. And, you know, this is a composition that you kind of want to make sure that you're not dying all the time. And this is, I mean, the whole point of it. It's such a defensive play style. And if you have people dropping left and right, you're not going to be able to get the full benefit, which is to, you know, neutralize everything and then slowly start taking a lead and control it for the rest of the match.
Just waiting on these members to ready up for game number 2 on the Battle of Kylo. If Spooky takes this, we'll be moving to 3-1 and dropping Apex Prime to 2-2, right along with PZ. But remember, Apex Prime does have that advantage, the head-to-head matchup over PZ.
Granted, Apex still has to take on Absurd.
That is 100% true, and PZ would have to lose to some matchups I think are a little bit easier for them to take on. So this is everything for Apex Prime, if you ask me. Regardless, do you think Spooky's got this one in the bag? Do you think they're going to be able to take this Battle of Kylo match?
I think this is going to go 2-0 to Spooky here. I think that Apex is going to do a lot better of a job. I mean, this is a team that's been kind of, I mean, this is a team that we've seen over the past year almost consistently. I mean, they've had their ins and outs in terms of, you know, kind of dropping out and kind of coming back after a hiatus, but this is a team that we've seen so many different renditions of. They've been able to adapt for so long. They've always been at the top of their game, so you can never take anything away from Apex in that regard. I mean, more on a Mesmer. You know,
when did you think you'd be seeing
on
that?
anything other than a warrior? I mean, we've seen him a couple of times on an NG, a couple of times on a Necro, but on a totally different class now. Quilja on the Elementalist as opposed to the Guardian. I mean, this is something, I mean, Trackful, again, on another class as well. Used to seeing him on an Engineer. Ostrich, of course. I mean, all these guys are playing different things just to make sure that they're at the top of their game. And they've always been willing to adapt. They've always been pretty quick at doing so. So, I mean, I'm never going to put anything past Apex. I'm never, ever, ever going to do that. But I think Spooky's got this one.
Soon. We will have to see as both teams have readied up. Let's go ahead and take a look at our map here. As I said, Spooky is up 1-0 over Apex Prime as we look for the opening splits on the Battle of Kylo. Both teams need a victory here. Apex Prime, though, wants to move it onto a map at number 3 on the Force and Niflhel. Actually, Temple of the Silent Storm, for that matter. Take a look at the opening splits, though. Ostrich heading to that windmill. We have a 3-man push for Spooky over to the mansion here, as both teams probably going to once again be opting for the 3-point push.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out because, I mean, so far what we've seen is whoever gets the first cap wins the game. So, I mean, these first couple of minutes are basically everything. Making sure that you get those decaps is one of the roughest things to do with these two compositions here.
As we look over at the mansion, it looks like a 2v2 in the making, along with the 2v2 at the midpoint. Over at the windmill, we got that 1v1 Mesmer matchup going on. We do have a portal, actually, to the midpoint, as about a of damage onto Tarsus right now. And they portal back to the mansion. Tarsus left in a 1v2 against Happy Kid and Sunfish. He's not going to be able to, Schnicky's in the mix as well. He's not going to be able to last too long in this fight.
Yeah, actually, I mean, this was a great play there from the Mesmers on Spooky. I mean, that was such a huge play, I believe, actually, from Mime, portaling Trackful out of the fight and then portaling everyone back in to take that kill off on Tarsus there. That was actually really incredible to watch. That was a huge play there from Mime, and I know he's been practicing that one for sure.
The fight has not been won. The cap was not taken. Though Pulja not looking healthy at the midpoint, he is going to be taken into the downstate track hole, going up for the res. Is going to pick him up, thankfully, for their sake. Still a 5-0 lead in favor of Spooky as this mid-fight is starting to crumble for Apex Prime. It felt like this is the same thing that's happening last game, and Trackful taken down as well, and I believe this could be the end, although Ostrich looking to get to that midpoint, again, doesn't have that blink or anything, so he will not be able to get on the point.
Yeah, Ostrich is going to go ahead and sit there. He definitely needs to leave this one for sure, and he does decide to do that. I mean, he needs his team there to make sure that he can get reinforced to take this one, but looks like Mansion is going to be neutralized as Mime and Morph are taking the 1v1 there. And looking over at the windmill, though, Spooky kind of pulling away. This is honestly exactly what we saw the last match. We saw the first map kind of go because of one cap just kind of taken away the whole time, and then just managing to get these skirmishes, and you know, they were able to kind of hold off and play defensively, and that's what we saw at least on the Legacy map. And then the second one, a lot more domination coming out from that second team, and actually the blue team there from PZ and then Spooky respectively. But Tarsus is going to be rolling into this fight there. Trackstar is getting kind of low here, now at about 10%. Does get taken down actually by the Condies. Looks like Schnicky's going for the stomp. Is he going to be able to get it there? And it doesn't look. Oh, he does get it. And Happy Kid suffering a lot of damage there.
Yeah, Tarsus is putting out the deeps onto him with that hammer auto attack. It hits so hard. Quilja in the mix as well, and it looks like Sunfish knows he needs to get on Tarsus. He can't let Tarsus just auto attack. Those things hit 2, 3, 4K for that matter, and along with the rest of his abilities, it hurts. But even so, like we said, Spooky with that first cap. We'll have to see if the first cap brings the winner. Will remain true as Trackful is back in this fight, and Apex can't let the same thing happen as it did last game and give them such a big lead to where nothing can go in their favor. You know, something can go in their favor and it still doesn't even matter for them.
Yeah, and it looks like blue team is going to be holding everything off now. I mean, we got the exact same situation as we saw last time, where they were able to get mid. We saw a 1v1 between the Mesmers just standing on a neutralized point, and then a 4v4 on the far node. This is, or actually, yeah, on their far node. I mean, this is exactly what we saw the last game, and this is exactly what we saw last game is exactly what we're going to see happening here again. Is this one cap just going to be taken away? They might get a couple of downs here and there. So of course, Spooky's going to be able to get them right back up, as we just saw on the screen. But it's going to be much the same. It's going to be, unless Apex makes a very pivotal adjustment, we're going to be seeing the exact same thing as last match.
Schnicky low once again, going to be taken into the downstate. Quilja's in the area. Good knockback actually coming out there from the Revenant on the side of Apex Prime, and it looks like Schnicky will be taken out regardless. Sunfish under a lot of pressure as well. He is actually going to go back to the midpoint, doesn't want to be dealing with that, and make sure no one's going to be in the area to be able to get that full cap, or decap rather, for the side of Apex Prime. And I think that this is like this exact same thing we saw last game, except a little bit of a sooner cap on the side of Apex Prime.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit of a portal back there and trying to get make sure that point stays neutralized. However, we are going to be seeing Happy Kid go down and get stomped there. So Apex making a little bit of some headway there. A little BM and chat there as well. And it looks like we are going to be seeing this fight kind of gravitate towards the midpoint, where Physics actually getting kind of low here. Doesn't have too many cooldowns left. It is still kind of waiting on that heal there.
Damage to Physics is just brutal.
Oh, he's going to be able to take him, I think.
He might be able to. It looks like he falls down below, has nothing to get himself into a good state, and he will be eliminated. This is excellent for Apex Prime, who can start to make their way back into this game if they capitalize on the numbers advantage for that matter. And it looks like Sunfish going to go back to the windmill, but Ostrich with the portal in the area back at the mansion though. Got a bit of a skirmish going on here as well.
Yeah, and Sunfish is going to be forced over towards the mid fight. Might actually skip that one out and instead opt to go around. However, he is going to be adding to this one, at least for now, making sure that Mime can get that full cap back again for his team. And they're going to be perhaps trying to push it over towards the other side, where, I mean, it's going to be the same situation. At least now for Apex, they do have that cap, and they're, again, making headway on taking Schnicky out. Schnicky not even staying in the wells there. It does instead opt for that quick portal out, and he's going to be able to stand on that midpoint and get some heals for himself. And
really good rotations there. Good use of that portal on the side of Spooky. We saw him use it twice there to get, you know, endangered members out of the fight and bring in the new one that had the full reset there. So we haven't really seen that type of play from Apex Prime. Regardless, they don't have the midpoint having at any point here. but regardless, probably should try and, you know, get something of that sort going. Have to get under a lot of pressure. We are going to see the time warp on the side of Spooky here, who have amassed almost a 100-point lead with 9 minutes left to go in this one.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for Spooky right now, especially if they can get Quilge down, who's now at about 20% HP. Tarsus taking a lot of pressure there as well. However, Happy Kid could go down here and does indeed. They're looking to take the do get the stomp off. Another huge moment here for Apex in terms of perhaps even making a little bit of a comeback here.
And now we're going to see the Trep come into play with Ostrich Eggs going to be on top of it. We had that was a very nice, I do want to point out, very nice time warp there from Morpheus to make sure that they get it. But here's the first Treb shot coming into play. This is probably bigger than most other games we've seen with Treb because of the fact it has such an impact, I think, rather than previous metas. Oh, Mime in the downstate, Morph going in for the stomp. Are they going to be able to get it? It doesn't look like so. And Apex Prime once again left without much to do over here at the mansion.
And once again, that Treb coming in, putting a lot of damage down onto Happy Kid, and we're gonna see yet another volley probably. Oh, it doesn't look like that is gonna be the case because, oh, just one more. Oh, Ostrich now being just portaling back here. It doesn't look like he's gonna be able to get back to the Treb though, because he's gonna be having to wait for that
taking in the downstate. Tarsus, oh, we are going to see the Vapor Form. Tarsus doesn't land the knockback because of the Vapor Form, trying to put out the deeps, but they should be able to get him back up. The damage is not enough to keep him in the downstate as the stomp just a little too late, as Snaky should be okay with that. Invul now is heal up in a couple of seconds, going to lightning flash up here, but Trackful going to follow him with with his sword 3 there, and Snaky looks to be okay.
No,
he's not. He does not.
Oh boy,
a big burst actually came out there. So regardless, he will get to safety with that portal play coming out there.
Yeah, Tarsus picking up the shovel and almost giving it to him there, but Sneaky is going to be able to get back up and healthy there. And now Physics is going to be left here with Mime. 2v1 on Morph here, and Tarsus is going to be adding to this one once again as Physics does decide to leave, but he's going to have to deal with some damage there from Tarsus. Trackful actually going to be staying as well. So still 90-point lead now for Team Spooky. Still kind of holding on here, but haven't really made any headway. Actually kind of lost a lot, losing a lot of these skirmishes here to Apex Prime, who have finally managed to kind of find their stride and finally get comfortable in a lot of these team fights. And now we're going to be seeing Mime get pretty low as well.
Oh, they're going to take him down. There's the time warp coming out there, and it looks like they will pick up the stomp almost immediately, and Physics is left alone. Sneaky doesn't want to leave that midpoint. Even so, there is that little fight going on over at the windmill, but this is everything for Apex Prime. They have to pick up the kill. They got to get a cap or something. It looks like Physics probably going to drop 3,000 health left for him, able to keep himself alive. Does have shield block, but he's going to be taken down. They are going to be able to get this quickness stomp and possibly take a full cap. But Mime is off of respawn. Is he able to make it there in time?
He doesn't have that blink, so he's going to be hard-pressed to get that one. He's going to go for the eye leap, and he's going to be able to get on there with 2 ticks left there. So it's going to come down to the continuum split and basically just managing.
Well, if he is forced to pop that distortion, even at that, I don't know. This is rough because it looks like Physics doesn't want to come to this fight, and actually now he's making away with it. So they're gonna have 2 Mespers once again. Mime was a lot of cooldowns trying to stay alive against this. Tarsus is putting out the deeps. Tarsus.
Oh man, I love that build from Tarsus, and I mean he's been able to put so much damage. I would love to get the number after this match of Tarsus's damage because that is absolutely insane there. We actually almost saw Quilja taken out, and Ostrich was able to support there a little bit, but looking over back at the mansion once again here, we are seeing 3 members of Spooky kind of just sitting here making sure that nothing bad goes wrong here, or sorry, that nothing goes wrong there. We are seeing Sunfish now against Tarsus and Ostrich Eggs trying to hold on, and Ostrich is going to take Sunfish almost all the way down. Luckily for Sunfish, he's able to get that last leap back over to Tarsus there and get back onto the point before Tarsus actually gets that decap.
We do have Quilja though down in the downstate. It looks like Happy Kid will get that quickness stomp there despite the res attempt coming out from Ostrich Eggs, and now they're going to be down a member with that mansion node still only 2 ticks away from Apex Prime getting that full cap, but they would have to do exactly what they did a couple minutes ago and spend 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes trying to wipe all of Spooky, and even at that, it could be enough in the end, but they got to do it quick, and with Tarsus not looking healthy here, almost had his heal up, wasn't able to get off. Morph going in for the res. Oh no, the stomp will come out there from Spooky, and they will be left without their biggest damage dealer for Apex Prime.
Yeah, and Trackful might actually follow there as he's getting pretty low as well, down to now about 20% HP. And it looks like Spooky have now turned the tables a little bit here as they're looking incredibly healthy in this fight here. And Trackful, about to go down here, and if they do manage to get him down, and they do line up the CC, they might actually get it right here. However, the resistance does come up once again. Trackful doing such a great job of staying alive here.
And
this
more
is insane
time
from him.
warp with the continuum split, allowing for him, if he needs to use it again, he will have it in case Trackful is taken down. But he has been at this health for so long. He's going to pop it once again, get some good heals from the rest of his team as we see Quilja back in the mix at this fight. And once again, it continues with 3:40 left in the game. We'll see Time Warp actually come out from Spooky. They want to wipe up this fight. They don't want to give Apex Prime any chance whatsoever of winning this one.
Yeah, and I mean, 90 points away. They have closed the gap a little bit, but they're going to need a lot more here. Happy Kid getting kind of low here. Trackful going for the kill here as he does manage to get him down pretty low, but looks like they are going to get some support over to their teammate now. And the Trebuchet once again coming in.
They need this. They need this so badly right here. The health pool's not looking so great for the side. Oh, it's going to hit Happy Kid, but it actually heals him because of his heal. Oh, man, that's not good for business. And it looks like Sunfish wants to leave this fight, and possibly Happy Kid. They want to leave it up to the Mespers once again.
Yeah, and that's actually a great play from them because they want to get away from that Trebuchet. I mean, that's everything. They need to make sure that they make those rotations to make sure that they're away from that, because if that team fight comes down to that Trebuchet being in play, they're going to lose that one for sure.
Trackful comes back into the fight, being pursued by Sunfish and Physics. He's trying to take down Schnicky, it looks like, but he needs to keep himself alive first. He's probably going to be taken down. It looks like so. Morpheus going in for the res will be enough. It doesn't. It looks like so. The kill is going to come out, and that could be it for Apex Prime. 2:30 left in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we do see 4 members of this Spooky team now trying to take down Morph, and Morph is probably going to be eliminated here. Does get a little bit of reset, but now getting downstated here, and he is going to get stomped out. So their hopes of capping Mansion are long gone, as Quilja is going to rotate in and probably be eliminated himself if he doesn't pull away quickly here. Schnicky now is going to be able to add to this as he's going to be jumping onto the point there. And Quilja now at about 50% HP. Happy Kid going to add to this one. They might actually pick up another kill, and this is potentially a huge mistake from Apex Prime, as we are going to be seeing Quilja eliminated now, and they're going to be getting 2 caps on the Mansion. However, the Trebuchet is coming in once again.
Did come in a little late there for support for Apex Prime, but you have to give it to them. It was a much better game than the first one.
Yeah.
Much better executed team plays, even portals for them. And overall play from Apex Prime was much better, but not enough to get past Spooky, who looked very strong here, was able to pick up, more than likely pick up the 2-0 victory over Apex.
And again, this is a team that's playing a composition that they literally just picked up. So Apex Prime, I mean, now that they're going to be able to have a lot of time during this hiatus to kind of figure things back out. I mean, we obviously know that there's going to be a little bit of some balance adjustments tomorrow coming in that patch, and potentially, you know, later on during this season. But I mean, as things get changed, they have at least some time now in the interim to kind of figure things out, and they're going to be able to get a lot of practice in as well. So this is a team that, I mean, despite their losses here, despite the upsets that they've kind of suffered through over the past 2 weeks, losing, of course, to Never Lucky and then losing now to Spooky, they have the ability to kind of come back and maybe make a name for themselves once again in this second half of the season coming in just a month from now.
And that will be a 2-0 victory for Spooky over Apex Prime. They will be moving up to 3-1, with Apex Prime falling to 2-2 in the standings. Any last thoughts on that match? Because, I mean, Spooky looked really strong, and Apex Prime got a little bit better as time went on, but overall, that's not the Apex Prime that we thought we might be seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, I kind of expected a little bit more, at least in the first map from Apex, but they did show, you know, they did show that they had some promise there coming into that second map there, but Spooky have kind of proven that, you know, maybe they aren't that team that loses to PZ. Maybe they are a team that is capable of winning very consistently against the top teams. Again, Apex Prime had taken that game, or that series versus PZ in the first week matchup, but I mean, still a great game from both of these guys. Definitely looking forward to the next coming weeks, but we still have 2 matches before we get to that for sure.
Speaking of which, our next one will be Zero Counterplay up against Final Form. Zero Counterplay, a heartbreaking loss against Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy last week. They are 0-3 up against Final Form 1-2, who cannot afford to lose this match if they want to get in that top 2 spot.
Yeah, not at all. And of course, after that, we will be seeing Easy Peasy versus the Absurd. But I mean, looking at the next matchup, that's going to be one. I mean, in my opinion, that's going to be kind of one-sided. I mean, Final Form versus Zero Counterplay. Still, Zero Counterplay hasn't found a victory for themselves as of yet. They have taken a map or two, but they
Yeah.
have yet to find a series. Final Form, of course, is a team that it has established themselves as a very strong team, a team that is capable of being in the top 4, top 5 kind of area. But I think Final Form is going to be able to take that one pretty handedly.
We will have to see. We are going to head to a short break, guys. When we're back, we'll have Zero Counterplay up against Final Form. Don't go anywhere.
You're no ordinary gamer. These are no ordinary gaming desktops. With a commitment to quality, uncompromising performance, and jaw-dropping design, Alienware pushes the limits to bring you the gaming experience you crave, because you demand nothing less than the ultimate gaming experience.
Welcome back to the ESL Guild Wars 2 Pro League as we have our third match of the day, Zero Counterplay up against Final Form, ready for you guys. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before the break. I think that Final Form's got this one. However, we have seen a couple of adjustments on the side of, Zero Counterplay, a team that hasn't gotten so many wins yet. I still think that Final Form's going to take this.
We'll have to see. Let's go ahead and hop into our matches. We have both teams ready for you guys. We're going to go on this Legacy of the Foe Fires. We have Final Form over on the red and over on the blue. That would be Zero Counterplay. Takes away with Final Form.
Yeah, looking at Final Form, we have Ozzy up first. Known to kind of be a little bit of multi-class here, has opted for the Mesmer here and does take up the Sword, Shield, Staff, as usual with the Sentinel Amulet, Superior Ring of Durability, going with Inspiration, Chaos, and Chronomancer. Next, we have Sup Cutie going with the Revenant, and we talked a little bit about this last week about how we're, not so sure about his Revenant play as of yet, but perhaps with this extra week that he's gotten, has been able to get some more practice on it, and is probably looking to be a little bit more comfortable with it. Going to be going with Mace, Axe, Sword, Shield, of course, with Rune of Durability and Viper's Amulet, going with Retribution, Corruption, and Herald. Next up, we have Urantian, which, this actually is the really interesting point, because is this potentially the first time that we've seen him in a competitive play, at least over the last year, on something other than a Ranger?
I believe so. I don't. He's played some Thief in his off time, but other than in competitive play, no, not at all. He always looked for something that works for Ranger. Has always been innovative in that sense, but it looks like he's went over to that Revenant.
Yeah, and he's going to be going over with that Staff, Sword, Shield, going with Marauder Amulet and Rin Alyssa here, so he's going to be going with Devastation, Invocation, and Herald. So he's going to go ahead and be that power damage that we actually saw a lot of with pretty much every other composition so far. However, going down now to Zeromus, looking like he's going to be going with Staff, Sword, Shield as well, with Sentinel Amulet and Rune of Durability, going with Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer as well. And Bob opting for the Elementalist as opposed to the Scrapper that he sometimes pulls out, but he's going to be going for the Staff, as we saw Quilcher running last, and he's going to be going with that 5-shout build as well, opting instead for one of the other ones. I believe actually we saw Quilcher going for that Earth shout. However, he's going to be going with Runic Soldier, Celestial Amulet, Earth, Water, and Tempest.
Taking a look over at Zero Counterplay on the blue, we have Aerodynamic. He's going to be taking the Dagger Focus with the Rune of the Soldier, Celestial Amulet. He'll be taking Earth, Water, and Tempest for himself. Aerox sticking to the Revenant. He'll be taking up the Mace, Axe with the Sword, Shield, Rune of Durability, and Viper's Amulet, taking Retribution, Corruption, and Herald. Moves sticking with the Revenant as he did last week as well, and he'll be taking the Sword, Shield with the Mace, Axe, running with Rune of Durability. Viper's Amulet going to be taking Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. It's basically the same thing we saw from Aerox. Kyuhu going to be the first, I believe they have 2 Mesmers, first of 2 Mesmers. He will be taking the Sword, Shield with the Staff. It looks like he's opting for Rune of Adventure. He's going to be taking the Celestial Amulet. He'll be taking up Inspiration, Illusions, and Chronomancer. Also taking that Blink as well. So given that, it's a little bit of a different build, looking for a little bit more Condi pressure, if you ask me here.
Yeah, he feels actually really comfortable about this Greatsword Condi build. He thinks that he's going to be able to generate a lot of clones and then, of course, provide a lot of damage through that Illusions tree. So I think that he feels really confident, but I'm not sure if Final Form is really all too afraid of it, because we have to remember that if at any point they feel a little bit too pressured on it on the first map, they can always just go over with that null field, and again, just going to have no problems dealing with that in the future. So they might be able to kind of take Final Form by surprise in this first one, but I don't really think that it's going to be all that big of a deal, at least in the second map, and I don't think it's going to be a deal.
Watch for Kyuhu with this build to push every single 1v1 he has the opportunity for. He's definitely going to be going far right off the start. He looks for a lot of 1v1s in this build and trying to get back into the fights really quick, I guess, with Blink for that matter. And just waiting on their fifth to go ahead and join up. I believe it is a Mesmer, but given what we've seen so far from Zero Counterplay, how much of a chance do you think they stand up against a team like Final Form?
No chance. No chance. No chance at all. I mean, they have a lot of really good players on their team. Of course, we've been seeing we've seen Aerox a lot before on even teams like Apex Prime actually, but we haven't seen a whole lot of moves in Arrow, at least recently. Arrow, of course, is a really strong player, has subbed for the Absurd actually at one point when Wakey was out, I believe, and is a very strong player. However, I just don't think that this team has the same level of synergy as some of the other teams, and even a team like Final Form, where Final Form is, you know, kind of newly created as well. A lot of these players have played together, but I mean, for the most part, this team was kind of put together for the Pro League, and I think that they've been able to adjust a little bit quicker than Zero Counterplay has.
And it looks like Ifno is their fifth on the Mesmer. He too will be running somewhat of a Condi variation to his build. He's going to be taking the Scepter Shield with the Sword Torch, going to be running the Ruin of Tormenting with Viper's Amulet. He'll be taking up Inspiration, Illusions, and Chronomancer, the same that we saw from Kyuhu. He'll be taking our first Signet of Humility that we've seen all week long here. So given that, they're going at a different approach than we've seen the previous teams with Mesmers.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that, honestly, Mesmer has a lot of damage potential that could, I mean, potentially sway the odds, but I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to kind of lend the right amount of support to these Mesmers that have gone a little bit more, I guess, aggressive in a way. I think that Final Form, with their defensive play, is just going to be able to outlast them and eventually kind of wear them out over time. We're going to be able to take this one.
I'm curious to see how Final Form is going to be able to deal and adapt with the Condi pressure that's going to be coming out, not only from the Mesmers now, but or the Revenants, but from the Mesmers now as well. And with that being said, there's no null field from Ozzy. There's no null field from Zeromus. They could be vulnerable to this.
Absolutely. It looks like we're just a couple of moments away getting readied up. We do have all 10 players in the room here. So we're just, I mean, honestly, on this map, I think that the defensive play style is definitely going to cater to Final Form. And I mean, honestly, Zero Counterplay's only hope in my eyes is winning that game on Battle Kylo and then kind of being really, I mean, kind of really impressing on the last map there, Temple, and just kind of stringing these guys out, making sure that they can't get those team fights. But in Legacy, I think that Final Form has just a little bit too much of an advantage here, looking at the composition.
I think Zero Counterplay has a bigger shot than most may think in the situation, just because of the different style of build that Kyuhu and Hypno are running, and how we saw them last week throw a match they probably should have won, but we'll have to see how they adapt in this fourth week here. Taking a look at the opening splits for both these teams on the first map on the Legacy of the Faux-Fire. It looks like we're going to see Aerox head to that waterfall, and nobody, maybe miscommunication from Final Form. They don't want to send anybody to the quarry. Actually, no, this was definitely planned because they're not going back to it.
By
so
design,
this is an odd opening from Final Form.
Yeah, Ozzy now having to make the trek all the way over, and he's going to have to take that 1v1 versus Hypno, and Hypno is very comfortable, and he's actually kind of talked about it, about how comfortable he is in these 1v1s, and it looks like he's not even going to take that one. But looking now at the graveyard, you're going to be seeing moves getting kind of low, but able to recover rather quickly, and it is actually, yeah, I mean, 50% HP now for moves as he's dropping a little bit faster now. They have managed to...
There's a lot of pressure coming out here. Urantian is doing a good job here with Subcutie trying to keep themselves on top of moves, get a current target, but a minute into this game, still not a whole lot happening. Actually, moves now, there's a lot of pressure, might be taken out, has 1,000 health left, already used all of his dodge rolls, doesn't have much left for himself. He is going to be taken into the downstate. Aerodynamic going in for the rest with the rest of his team. They might be able to pick him up, and it looks like they will be able to get him up. A lot of damage taken, able to get themselves to a respectable level, but moves once again under so much pressure here.
Yeah, and he's going to fall pretty short right now as he's trying to get Bob down as well, and it looks like Bob actually is going to go down first as Move's going to get a lot of heals there, and no one's even in the area.
Why are they
again
stopping?
here.
They haven't even begun to stop. They don't want to. Now it looks like Bob is going to be able to, and he might actually be taken out if they get the stop. Move's going to get it, maybe. Oh, it doesn't look like it actually connected there. I am so confused. It looked like he had the stop, but it didn't, and Moves is now in the downstate, and things have turned around here for Final Form.
Yeah, I think he changed target with that retargeting thing, and I think that messed up his stomp there actually. So I mean, that's really unfortunate for moves there, because I mean, I think that they actually had the counter pressure to turn that fight back around. And I mean, now they're in a situation where 5 points to final form could very well dictate the rest of the match.
Indeed, and now Kyuhu is under a lot of pressure, needs to get that mantra off to keep himself alive. He's gonna get it off, trying to keep himself up. Moves is gonna be back in the fight here in just a matter of moments. Let's take a look at, oh, actually Q now taken down. Subcutie's all over him, gonna be able to get the stomp perhaps. Oh, it looks like he does get that one, even with the downstate being used by Kyuhu. And once again, a member up in this fight.
Yeah, Aerox over here actually taking that 1v1 still with Zeromus, and it's up to him to try to put down the same pressure that we saw actually from some of the other Revenants on this Mesmer 1v1, and it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. It doesn't look like Aerox has really kind of figured out how to get that same level of pressure out onto the Mesmer as some of these other teams have kind of, you know, figured out. And Dr. Kyuhu now is going to try to maybe, oh, it looks like he's just going to leave a portal and maybe make a play later here. We have to make sure that we keep that in mind as he does rotate over towards that mid fight where Moobs now is getting kind of low, and I think Dr. Kyuhu is going to go ahead and maybe push that portal if he does get any lower here. Aerodynamic now going to go for some heals for his teammate, miss it actually, and Moobs now needs to get out really soon here, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. 5 seconds left on his cooldown. However, Urantian and Bob very low, as well as Bob actually could be taken out here.
Oh, Urantian's running around with Torment, able to cleanse it. Now they're going in for the stomp on the Moves, and it looks like Subcutie's going to pick it up, and they should be okay after that one. I'm very surprised that, you know, I was about to mention before you said that Urantian and Bob were getting low. Is that something we hadn't seen from Zero Counterplay in a couple of minutes? There was their lack of, they hadn't put much pressure on anyone. Able to do it on 2 members, but really weren't able to capitalize much on it, as it looked like they were going for Bob. Urantian was just as viable of a target there, and now Aerodynamic is under a lot of pressure. He's going to be taken into the downstate.
And Kyuhu does not have that same level of support that we sometimes see from some of these Mesmers in terms of getting their teammates back up, and now looks like Arrow is actually maybe going to be taken back up. He does get taken back up. However, they're going to take a lot of damage in the process. Moves right now, doesn't have too many cooldowns left, and is going to be taken down kind of low before he gets some heals there from his teammate. And we have to remember that there's a lot of cooldowns being used just to get them back up to that point, and because of that, Moves doesn't have too many left, and if they continue that AoE pressure, they might be able to get a wipe here and take the first point at all of this map.
Yeah, 15-0, almost 5 minutes into this game, just from 3 kills coming out from Final Form, but surprisingly enough, Zero Counterplay has been able to hold on, file back into this midpoint. Moves now in the downstate. It looks like Urantian going to be going in. Actually, Subcutie going to be going in for the stop. They're able to get him back up. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of pressure that actually came out from these guys. I think it would have benefited Final Form if both Urantian and Subcutie are the ones going in for the cleave and getting Bob to get the stomp, but they want the quickness stomp, even so it didn't come out for him. Now 5 minutes have elapsed here, and nothing really going in either team's favor in terms of getting a note here.
Yeah, Moob's still just getting trained right here, and you know, at about 50% HP, it's not looking too good for him. Does have 5 seconds left until his heal is back up. Still getting a lot of heals there actually from Aerodynamic. These Tempests have done a lot in terms of maintaining their team's health pools, and that's kind of, I mean, with the Auramancer, that is basically their job, that is their role. However, they do still have a lot of pressure, and we're seeing Aero just turn it now onto Urantian, who's now at about 30% HP, dropping a little bit, but Moves needs to be careful because this could be the same situation they saw themselves in before, where Moves went for the pressure and almost got killed there yet again. However, he's going to be able to get back up, and Urantian is still going to be not too healthy.
I don't know. Urantian's not looking too great right here. Does have his heal in the Glen stance and is going to be using it up to 50%, 60, almost 100% HP just from that heal alone. And now Moves is going to be turned on. Look at the bleeds and whatnot. Second on him is going to get his heal off. Should be okay once again. Now the pressure back onto Urantian, who is now in trouble here. And it's just back and forth pressure coming out from both these teams. I'm not sure he's going to be able to stay up here, trying to do what he can. Is going to be able to use his shield block, and Moves once again in the downstate. Aerodynamic going in for the res. Are they going to be able to pick it up? And it doesn't look like there's so much CC coming out there. Really good gravity well coming out on the side of Zero Counterplay.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to get his teammate back up. And I mean, honestly, we talked about it before, and I was kind of joking about how these couple of kills could really dictate the rest of the match. And look at the scoreboard. They are actually dictating the entirety of the match, and it's blue team now who needs to get something incredibly quick here, because I mean, with 8 minutes left in the match, it seems like a lot of time, but with this composition, with the lack of really raw, hard damage that they have, I mean, I'm not really sure that they're going to be able to get anything going
though,
here.
in the downstate once again. Are they going to be able to get it back up? It looks like a knockback came on a sub cutie. Really good use of that downstate CC, and I don't think it's going to happen as Aerodynamic took so much pressure. That was a really good job on the side of Final Form, making sure they cleaved that body well enough. There was no possible chance they were going to be able to get the res up. Now Q, who isn't looking too healthy, neither is Aerodynamic. I think both of them are at a very big risk right here, and it looks like Q taking down Aerodynamic, probably going to follow him here.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a 3-man wipe and actually have a chance at getting a point capture actually for the first time all game. 7.5 minutes in right now, so this is a great opportunity for them now, as they're gonna be able to get these kills. They need to make sure that they get it very quickly though, as we are gonna be seeing an addition here from, I believe that is Moobs, and he's gonna be able to get back onto this point.
I don't know about this one. I mean, they obviously, they don't want to give up the cap. They can't afford to. In the last 4 games we've seen today, the first team to give up a cap has lost. So that's maybe where they're going at with this, and Aerodynamic should be able to get here before Moobs, or before full cap happens. Moobs actually going to be taken out. The stomp going to probably come out in a matter of seconds here. The knockback will happen, and now Aerodynamic might be able to pick up a res if he's able to provide some form of CC, but I don't think that's going to be able to happen. Actually, he gets the CC onto Bob. Is he going to be able to get him back up as Q is in the area as well?
Yeah, they're going to put more and more damage on top of that, though, as Subcutie was able to assist with that one, and they're going to be able to focus the damage now yet again onto Aerox, probably. Or, sorry, not Aerox, onto Aerodynamic there. Both Aero guys on this team, jeez. But
they planned that somehow.
But yeah, he's going to be going down now. I mean, he's getting a lot of pressure, but he's been able to maintain himself. That Diamond Skin certainly doing a little bit of the work there for him, and Urantian now taking a lot of counter pressure, as we are seeing Q actually being the one loading up those conditions. And we talked about his build before, about how we weren't sure how those conditions were actually going to stack up, because of the fact that, you know, it's not really that much pressure, but it looks like that actually has been enough to get Urantian pretty low.
The first rotation of the game would be Q going to the water, or the quarry, excuse me, trying to do something against Ozzy. They know they need to get something. 6 minutes left in this game, and all we've had is stomps on the side of Final Form, and looking to make something happen. I don't know about this. They can't afford to lose mid. I don't think.
The Moa comes out now, and it's just Q and Hypno here, so I mean, they have an opportunity to put up a lot of damage.
Look at the Condies. They might actually be able to do something. That's actually I think that's like a really good play if they're able to get the kill, but Ozzy's still alive, and they weren't able to get that, and able to cleanse those Condies for the most part. This is why he's alive.
Yeah, and Q still has that gravity well at his disposal. Unfortunately for Team Zero counterplay, we didn't see Hypno use the continuum split there on the Signia Humility, so he missed that a little bit there. Not going to be able to get him once again, but they still have been able to put a ton of pressure down onto Ozzy, who's now seeing about 8k HP. Forced off Moob's going to try to get the kill off on him now, and they're going to go for it. Ozzy getting downstated actually here, and we are going to be seeing them go for the double stomp. Are they going? Oh. They don't get it. The 2-seal comes off, and Ozzy's going to get some stealth there.
I think they're still going to get the... No, he doesn't pick it up. It looked like he had it. Even so, Subcutie and Ozzy still extremely low right here. Ozzy needs to be very careful. Has his mantra, going to get it off. Look at the Condies on him, though. 9 stacks of Torment, able to cleanse them with ease. And now we have Moobs and Hypno in the downstate. The table has turned here, and it looks like both of them will be killed off along with Q, and the first cap of the game will be going for Final Form.
This is a hugely pivotal moment now for Final Form, who almost had the cap there on Graveyard, but has managed to kind of turn the tides a little bit and get it over here on the on the quarry, and maybe push a lot of their a lot of their resources into that Graveyard now, and maybe have another opportunity here to get it going, as Kihu is going to be completely bled out there by Ozzy. Ozzy's just going to stick around a little bit. We are going to be seeing both Moobs and Hypno looking for a spot to go, and it's just Bob actually on the Graveyard here. It's no one else.
Have a Lord push though, coming out here from Final Form, who are looking to get inside of their base. First cap coming at about 10:30, 10:45 into that game for Final Form, who honestly, if I were them, I'd be like, okay, we probably have this in the bag. But Moobs is on the side gate as well, being contested, it looks like, by Ozzy, who honestly is not going to be able to do anything against Moobs getting the gate down right here. Moobs with the Viper Amulet trying to do what he can to get it down. I mean, this could be it's still their game if they're able to make sure if they somehow get a decap over there. But Moob's going for the Lord, and we see the portal back from Ozzy, who expected it from Kyuhu.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Moves is going to be able to clutch this one out a little bit with the Lord. I think that they really, I mean, a lot of emphasis, really need that decap there on Quarry, and it's only a matter of time before that amounts to being too much, even with the Lord kill.
2 minutes later on that Quarry cap, heck, maybe even a minute, and the Lord kill would be a lot for them, but they're going to pick up the Lord kill. There's no doubt about that. It's already 40% HP. No one's in the area, so they will have the lead for the first time this game. They'll get their first points of the game, but without a decap, without a cap, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we're seeing another Lord Rush actually from the from the red team here, as Subcutie going to be able to push in here, and all he's really doing is kind of pulling Hypno off, but unfortunately for them, with Yura pulling off as well, they are down actually one man here, and it looks like on Quarry they're trying to get some headway over, and it's actually...
Ozzy needs help. I mean, not right now. He's going to be okay for a while, but he will need help in the future. I mean, there's no way he's going to be able to survive against Moobs and Kyuhu forever. He does have that second time warp, going to use it again after the Continuum split, gave him another one. We do have that Lord push once again coming in as Urantian and Subcutie looking to take out Hypno, who is going to need some help around here. He might actually die to that Torment. He's not looking good whatsoever. He has that blink. He's going to blink back towards his base rather than towards the NPCs. I think help from the NPCs might help him out, as Urantian going to actually pick up the kill, and we will see the stomp onto Ozzy connect. So this is it. They have to defend the Lord, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that, and without it, we're going to see Final Form take this second game.
Yeah,
or first game, rather.
Final Form's certainly going to take this one. I mean, with the double Revenant there, they definitely have the damage to make sure that they take that kill, and no one's going to be able to support that. We are going to be seeing Hypno pull over, but just not in time. And now, you know, they were able to get that decap, perhaps.
They're able to get the full cap there as well, but I don't think that's enough.
Kill,
130 left in this game. They'd have to do something else. Moobs, one tick away from giving up the waterfall. Aerox in the area. They're going to put out a lot of pressure onto Zeromus. Kind of the first time we've actually talked about him all game. He's been at the waterfall for most of this game here, but Zeromus needs to hold on to this decap. If he gets, if this becomes a full cap for zero counterplay soon here, it could be dangerous. But if he holds it onto the decap, I believe this game is solidified for them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At this point, with only a minute left and yet another kill there, Hypno falling, I think that it's just a matter of time here, and that time being exactly 50 seconds until Final Form takes this first map. Actually, Zero Counterplay, though, putting up a lot of fight, though, and I think that, you know, with this this next map on Kylo, you know, potentially being able to spread them a little bit thinner, I think they have a little bit more of a shot than on Legacy, where Final Form has kind of built a little bit more in terms of the team fight. I mean, they've definitely built a little bit more bunkery, and of course with that team fight they're going to be able to help each other sustain over a long period of time. However, if you can split those guys out, if you can spread them out and split them thin, and spread them thin rather, I think that Zero Counterplay has the advantage in those 2v2s, and perhaps even getting a couple of those 3v2s and 2v1s if they get the right rotations.
And we will be having Final Form take game number 1 over Zero Counterplay. The score by just about 100 points here for them, as they will be taking this one 305 to 204. I mean, Zero Counterplay doing what they could at the end there. Honestly, almost had it in a way, but weren't able to defend against that Lord.
Yeah, they just weren't able to execute that final plan, and they managed to get that decap. That was huge for them. But, you know, not being able to take out, Zeromus, it feels weird saying his name. Like you said, we haven't talked about him at all because he was over there alone.
Was he in that game at some point? I'm really not sure where he was.
But yeah, so I mean, not being able to take him out, of course, that had a huge effect as well. The fact that they weren't able to get the decap for so very long on Graveyard, and kind of were just all over the place in terms of that Graveyard node. Moves falling, I think, 3 times in that map there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely played a part. And I mean, it really kind of comes down to that, making sure that they win those skirmishes. And if they can do that in Kylo, where they have that those 2 Mesmer builds that have a little bit more pressure, they could potentially take this one. However, I'm not so sure how I feel about those Mesmer builds even still. I mean, we saw the Viper build from Kyuhu. It has a lot of damage, but it's just so easy to rip off, especially with resistance. I mean, durability runes are out there. You have the resistance coming from the Malix revs. You have potentially the Mesmers being able to make a build switch right now to make sure that they cover that resistance as well. So there's a lot of ways to counteract that, and I don't think that Zero Counterplay are going to be able to, I mean, Zero Counterplay, there's a ton of counterplay. And I think they're going to fall for that reason.
And it looks like Q-Who is sticking to the same thing along with Hypno as far as it looks thus far. Perhaps a change coming out on the side of them. It looks like they did drop a member there. Maybe he'll be back. Even so, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, they did a good job. Don't get me wrong with what they had and throughout the build. But a Lord kill, either way, isn't going to win them on a game on this map. And I'd be surprised to see a comp change actually come out from these guys as well. But I have to see if they're going to bring that second Revenant back.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. I imagine they're going to bring the Revenant, but we'll have to see. No changes on the side of Final Form here. It looks like Subcutie actually doing a pretty good job there. We talked about you know, his lack of experience on anything pretty much other than a Mesmer, but did a pretty good job, in my opinion, that last game, definitely holding his own and looking a lot better than he did last week there. You know, I think that he's improved a lot.
I believe so as well. Him and Urantian did an excellent job that last game, putting pressure down onto single targets. I mean, that's something some teams struggle with. They're like, oh, I've got one target and some guy's on another target. You got to be on the same guy in this meta, especially more than ever, if you ask me. Nerox is going to be bringing back that second Revenant, so perhaps he did just leave the arena for a second there, maybe reconsidering their strategies, giving themselves a little bit extra time here. But moving on to the Battle of Kylo. What are your predictions from that? I know you said on this map, Zero Counterplay might have a better chance of winning, but how so?
You know, it really comes down to if they can spread them a little bit thinner and make sure that they're not in these like big 3v3, 4v4 kind of matchups. And if they can do that, then I think they'll have a little bit more of an opportunity, because they need to make sure that they make good use of those conditions. And if they have Bob in those fights, if they have the resistance spam coming from those Malik's Revenants in those fights, they're not going to be able to have the same level of pressure as they do in some of these 2v1s, 2v2s even. And of course the 1v1s, but it really kind of comes down to that. However, we are just a couple seconds away here, and we're going to be taking a look now at the opening splits.
With that being said, it looks like Bob will be heading to the windmill. We're going to be having Aerox actually head for the mansion. And right off the bat, we're going to have Q-Who already on the Treb here. So this is something we haven't seen looking back at the game now. We haven't seen immediate Treb play. We've seen Treb play. We saw it in the last set, but right off the bat, actually, he just wanted to get the wall down there, so really not going to be able to do anything with it, or wanting to do anything with it, for that matter. And they're just going to give up the full cap right away to Bob. They're not even...
No.
that is the worst possible opening you could have for Zero Counterplay.
I'm calling it right now. Final Form wins. They got it.
There's no worse opening unless somehow they're able to all 5 die right at the start of the game. There's nothing worse that could have happened, and that 1v1 is not going to be going for Q-Who anytime soon.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, he does have a lot of pressure, but Bob is running that Tempest, so he's going to be able to sustain for quite a long time. Ozzy did get Moa'd once again here. It looks like he's been pretty much the main target of this Moa here, and as such, he's going to be taking a lot of pressure. However, it looks like with that Time Warp still available, with both shield blocks still available, he's going to be able to get back up rather quickly, and it looks like Moves and Aerodynamic are the ones they're going to have to worry next, as they're getting kind of low. Arrow trying to follow Moves around and get some heals to his teammate. It looks like they're able to peel off for each other now, and everything's kind of resetting for the most part.
Yeah, and this lead is just going to be building second after second here for Final Form with that windmill cap. You didn't want to see that at the start of the game, maybe 10 minutes later, but because of that, it feels like immediately Final Form has this game, like just the upper hand. It's, of course, Zero Counterplay can do what they want to and try and get back into this one, and it's not like they're down a lot, but this is just going to build, and it's going to be so difficult for them to get back into this, especially with Hypno actually going down the top of the tower here, and it looks like Urantian's going to pick up the kill, and it looks like...
Oh, wow.
Looks like Zero Counterplay has already called it for themselves.
Oh man, and this is exactly like what kind of happens when you have a team that has yet to take a win in the season, and the frustrations that kind of follow that. And now they're dropping a game here to Final Form, and it looks like Final Form is going to be taking this one, and
I did that. I'm just appalled. I mean, who first off, I want to know if that was Aerox who let that happen, because last week...
Hold on.
Last week, the Tranquility buff. Remember that?
Shovel, boys. We have a full team wipe. The whole team is gone. The whole team is gone, buried, and they have left the match, and it's over for them. Final Form now going to be taking it, and they're going to be 2-0 and taking that entire set. So we only have one game left now, and Absurd is going to be taking on Easy Peasy, and I expect a little bit more, or sorry, another burial in that terms. But man,
I'm just appalled that something like that would happen right there in final form with the easy 2-0 over 0 counterplay. Looking forward, our final match of the evening, the Absurd up against Easy Peasy, who are sitting 2-1 right here. How do you think they're going to be able to go up against these guys?
It's just not looking so good for him at all. I mean, Absurd is just such a strong team, and they've been the only team that's really been able to answer the current meta and some of the things that we've been seeing a lot of, and some of the things that have frustrated teams like Zero Counterplay, who have yet still now to find a win in this tournament. But I mean, or sorry, in this league, and going up against a team like Easy Peasy, who's looking pretty good. I mean, tied for us that second place spot at 2-1. Doing well enough in the season, but
it's going to be a tough challenge going up against the Absurd. But as far as we've heard, the Absurd bringing something different themselves and maybe not performing to the best that they have in the past. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think we can just cut everything. Absurd's probably going to take this one, boys. We can just cut it all. Absurd's going to probably take this 2-0, I think. And Easy Peasy is still a team that I think is pretty good. I think
100%.
I think the team that is definitely well within the possibility of getting a top 4, top 5 kind of finish if all things go according to plan. And they've been really getting a lot better over the course of the last couple of weeks. And, you know, even looking at potentially even season 2, this is a team that I think that people need to kind of be looking at and kind of studying, because they could very well be a team that, you know, continues to progress and get better and better and better. And I mean, other than that, they're gonna lose.
Well, that's a bit harsh. We'll have to see. You guys, we're going to head to another break, our final one of the evening, and when we're back, we will have Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy up against the Absurd. Stay with us. welcome back to the ESL Guild Wars 2 Pro Leagues for North America as we have our final match of the evening ready. Easy peasy lemon squeezy up against the Absurd. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but going into a little bit more detail, how do you think these guys might fare against the Absurd?
I mean, this is definitely a team that has done a lot to make sure that they perform better each week, and we saw last week a little bit of an upset actually. And Easy Peasy has done, they've taken strides to make sure that they are at the top of their game, and honestly, I kind of respect them for that. However, the Absurd is just such a strong team, and I'm not really sure that Easy Peasy is quite ready for that kind of Titan to be taken on, at least for them right now in their current path. And I think we're going to be seeing Absurd take this pretty handily 2-0.
Well, let's hop into our first match on the Legacy of the Faux Fires. We have both teams starting to join up here. Over on the red would be the Absurd, and over on the blue, Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. Now, this is the new comp we were talking about. Nos is on a Mesmer.
Oh, man. I mean, there's not a lot you could say about that other than, I mean, maybe they were kind of forced to. I mean, this is something that has been a long time coming. The Necromancer certainly has kind of struggled, at least in this current meta, so he's been kind of forced to make a little bit of an adjustment here. He has, I mean, looking at his build right now, has gone for that Sword Shield Staff with Rune of Durability, going for the Celestial Amulet there, as we saw a little bit earlier on PZ, I believe it was, and he's going to go for Chaos Inspiration, and Chronomancer has a lot of team fight potential with this build, and this is actually kind of still the role that he's very comfortable with, taking a lot of the pressure and, helping a lot with these team fights, and especially, I mean, we're kind of used to seeing him do a lot of damage, but of course over the last couple of months have gotten used to seeing him play this kind of supportive bruiser role, and this is, I mean, much the same regard there. So looking now at 5 gauge, he's going to be taking up the Scrapper here, going with the Hammer, Marauder Amulet, and Durability Runes. He's going for Inventions, Alchemy, and Scrapper, and next up we have Toker going for the Revenant as opposed to the Thief, and he's going to be going with Staff, Sword Shield with Rune of Durability. He has the Celestial Amulet on right now, although he could switch at any point to that Viper Amulet. Looking like he's going to take up Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. And next we have Wakey, and he's going to be on actually Mesmer here, as opposed to the Elementalist. And that's going to be Soldier Amulet with Sword Shield, Staff with the Durability Runes, Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. And we have yet to see what they're going to be bringing in for their fifth.
I think it's Fanaram on the Revenant.
I have to assume it is going to be the Revenant, and I also have to assume that it's probably, I mean, I want to say that it's going to be, I want to say that it's going to be the condition setup, but you never know. I mean, Fanaram has,
it's going
to be Viper. It's going to be Viper, so that's going to be Sword Shield and Base Axe, and it's going to be Durability Runes. Corruption, Retribution, and Herald as well. However, it looks like he's...
Something to point out, though, is Magic Toker does have some experience on the Revenant. We've seen him in the past play some, maybe not in Pro League, but we have seen him play some, so he does have some experience on it. Taking a look over at Easy Peasy, first up we have Edison on the NG. He's going to be running with the Hammer, Marauder Amulet, running the Rune of Durability. Going to be taking Inventions, Alchemy, and Scrapper for himself. Edmonton back on the Revenant here. He's going to be taking the Sword Shield with the Mace Axe. Going to be taking Viper's Amulet with the Rune of Durability. Going to be running Corruption, Retribution, and Herald. Zor will be the one and only Mesmer for this team. The first team today with only one Mesmer, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to be taking the Staff with the Sword Shield. Going to be taking the Soldier's Amulet, Rune of Durability. They will be with the Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. Caden going to be the second Revenant. He'll be running basically the same thing as we saw from Edmonton with the Mace Axe, Sword Shield, Viper's Amulet with Durability Runes, running Retribution, Corruption, and Herald. And finally, Chudat going to be on that Elementalist for these guys with the Dagger Focus, with the Rune of the Soldier, Celestial Amulet, running Water, Earth, and Tempest. Now back to Fanaram. We did basically clip off his build a little bit, but it's basically the normal stuff. So basically, the Absurd have went over to what most other teams have been running now.
Yeah, and the only thing they've really switched is keeping Chaith on that Engineer, of course, where he feels the most comfortable, and instead of taking up the Elementalist that we usually see on Tempest. But looking over at the other side on Easy Peasy, this is actually the composition, the same composition that we've seen actually over on EU from the top teams in EU. And of course, there's a big discussion over how the NA teams are going to stack up against the EU teams. And of course, the Absurd is the last global winners, but EU has looked really solid over the last couple of weeks, and they've been very competitive, and it's been with this composition. So we'll have to see how that translates into this matchup, where the Absurd, of course, are the stronger team, at least in my opinion, but this composition that blue team has come out using, I mean, could go either way.
Just waiting on both of these teams to begin this match. Of course, Easy Peasy knows what they're up against here. They know the Absurd are the best team in the Pro League currently, but they also know that Wiki and Nos are not, you know, their best classes aren't Mesmer by any means. It's not like they've been practicing these for weeks to say that. Maybe a week at that. And Toker on to the Revenant. He has some experience, but I think his Thief is obviously one of the best, if not the best Thief currently. And with that being said, I'm very interested to see against a team like Easy Peasy, who's 2-1 currently, how they'll be able to match up against these guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point. It looks like everybody's getting pretty readied up now, so could be just underway with our first map here between Absurd and Easy Peasy. And this is the last match of the day, so I mean, all of it's on the line here for Easy Peasy, who's trying to stay, you know, neck and neck with some of the top teams here, as they are, at least before today's results. I mean, they were, you know, sitting there tied for second. So
hold on to your
opening
points.
splits for both these teams. The Absurd will be sending Magic Toker to the quarry. Meanwhile, Chudat heading over to that waterfall node. As anticipated with all the other matches, it will be 3-point play right from the start. A 1-1-3 though for the Absurd. Phantom actually looking to probably peel off and help out Wakey going back onto the map here. It looks like Wakey will be needing a little bit of assistance, and Phantom Nos actually going to be the one to come help him back. They're putting 2 of their Mesmers on the midpoint. What do you think about that?
yeah, I'm not so sure about that. We haven't seen that yet today. They are going to make a quick adjustment though, so it's going to be just Zor versus Wakey now on the midpoint. That's probably going to be stalled out for a long period of time. The big fight, the one that really matters, at least in my opinion, is going to be the one, you know, between a couple of these members of the Absurd and of course Easy Peasy, as well as Caden's getting kind of low, about to get dropped. Actually does indeed. They're going to go for the res. They do get it, but you know, took a lot of damage in the process. Chudat now at about 30% HP. Caden now taking a lot of pressure as well, and they're going to go for the kill, as Caden is going to force himself off and try to stay alive, but just doesn't have too many answers left at this point. And now Caden is going to be trying to just completely leave this one here, as Wakey actually is going to be left alone on the midpoint.
Good job from Easy Peasy keeping themselves back up in this fight. They don't want to give the Absurd a huge lead right from the start, but they haven't even managed to get anybody below 50% HP, not even close for that matter. Do see a portal 5 gauge, going to go right through it and try to make this an even 2v2 at the midpoint. Edmonton though going to roll right on through and look to make a push to try and take out Magic Toker. Edison not looking the greatest in this 1v1 currently, and the Absurd, despite a 0-0 game right here, look to have the upper hands in terms of health pools, as Chudat, Caden, and Edison not looking too healthy around the map.
Yeah, and 5 gauge is doing quite well against Caden here in this fight, and I mean, if he's able to push him off this node, they're going to have a cap pretty shortly, and they're doing such a good job of making sure that they have the right people in the right spots. And Toker right now getting kind of low, but it was Wakey who made the adjustment and pulled over and has done quite a good job in getting him back up, and they're looking pretty good, at least in this fight here, as Edison is getting pretty low now, down about 30% HP, does have his heal now, and he's actually learned to blast it as well. So now he's going to be pretty healthy, at least for now, and he's going to be back at about 50%, same as all the members of the Absurd here, who are actually kind of portaling out.
I think that was Edmonton on the NG, not Edison.
Oh, it was. You're right.
Yeah. It was Edmonton on the NG.
That was a good adjustment because, you know, Edmonton now on the Revenant, of course, they're going to be able to get the entry blast.
So now Wakey is still in this 1v2. Means the Absurd have the upper hand elsewhere, but really not capitalizing. I take that back as Chudat taking down at the midpoint. Cade wanted the res, was interrupted, gets him back up. Look at the Condi damage onto him right now. Resistance not coming out, actually, and they're both going to drop here, and we will see the first points of the game going to the Absurd over here at the graveyard, and more than likely the cap as well.
Yeah, Wakey is still holding on to this 1v2, but I just don't think that's going to be for much longer, as he's getting pretty low here and is going to be taken out here. Easy Peasy are going to be able to eliminate him and get closer to this cap, and now take a 2v1 onto 5 gauge. He's going to have to hold this and bunker it down, as Panorama is making the adjustment. They do still have that cap, so if he's able to hold on for even just 10 seconds, I mean, this 2v2 is certainly going to be able to, you know, hold this and keep it stalemated for at least a little while. Chudat now trying to decide if he wants to go over towards that far node and help that one out, or maybe make a move for that graveyard. However, we are seeing Wakey come back up as well, and now everybody's kind of found their place. Edmonton now going down here, and they are going to be putting a ton of pressure onto it. Quick stomp already there from Fanoram, and Edmonton is eliminated. Absurd already kind of pulling away from this game.
With that being said, we just have Wakey sitting at the midpoint. Doesn't really need to make an effort to go to the quarry, because they, even getting down Chudat now, The Abjur doing an excellent job in this team fight and forcing out Edison, who's not going to be able to stand a chance even in a 1v2 for quite some time. So perhaps 2-cap from the Abjur with this new composition will be coming out on their end. Over at the Waterfall, taking a quick peek at what's going on there. Nas holding his own against Zor in this 1v1. Edmonton going to make it a 1v2 for that matter. And Nas might need some help from the rest of his team here.
Yeah, Edison's getting kind of low though, and they're going to be able to force him off. The burn's still ticking away on him. And they might, Phantom might actually find him here. He does get the heal back up, so he's going to be looking okay for now. And Phantom's going to try to take him on in the 1v1. Slickshoe's actually sort of wasted, in my opinion, if Phantom can get back in there and control that, and does indeed. So, I mean, at this point, Easy Peasy really needs to win this fight over on the Waterfall, because I just don't see Edison winning this fight against Phantom in the 1v1. I think Phantom just has way too much control in this one, and I mean, it really comes down to this Waterfall, and if they're going to be able to take this one. Nos is kind of getting a little bit low, but they were able to eliminate Caden already, and still Abjur just showing, like, essentially what they're capable of, and what that is essentially a 3-cap. I mean, it's just a couple of moments away, in my opinion, where Zor is getting very low, and despite the fact that they still have these 2 Mesmers, they're still getting pressured so hard. And people talk all the time about these Mesmers and how, I mean, they're just impenetrable. They're just a brick wall, and you know, you can't get past them. But here you see this Mesmer Zor is still getting pressured so hard, and Caden's about to drop as well. Edison was taking her out across the map. Abjur is just stomping them all over the place. The map control is insane from these guys.
That's something we have to kind of, you know, talking about a little bit here is, in the last matches we've seen, like, the team fights, no points come for minutes, like at 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, not even a cap for that matter. One of the matches was like 11 minutes in, and that's something with the Abjur. They're just pressuring them so hard around the map, making great rotations all over the place, where right from the get-go in this first game, the health pools of Easy Peasy were very low just from the start. Even though the Abjur didn't pick up kills immediately, you could just tell how much of an advantage it felt like they had.
Yeah, and they're really kind of putting it all on display here. Edmonton right now at about 50%, dropping still kind of slowly, but you know, they're just going to try to probably hold them here for as long as possible. This is still the exact same thing that we always see Abjur doing, where they get control of their side and just try to force the fight onto a neutralized point and just kind of trick the other team into thinking that they have a shot. If they just hold on for a little bit longer in this fight, if they just hold on, they might be able to get this one and maybe push the momentum. But it's just, of course, a mind game really from Abjur, where they're just holding them there as long as possible, just focusing damage, maybe getting a kill here and there, making sure that they kind of rotate in slowly and, you know, just take that one and just get that 2-cap, just piling away.
And 5 points for Easy Peasy. They did put something on the board with the kill, but yet to actually get a cap for themselves. 8 minutes remaining in this game as the Abjur coming up on 250, excuse me. Wakey taken down. However, over at the quarry, we will see more points come out for these guys, as Phantom was also eliminated, if I'm not mistaken, over at the quarry. Taking out 2 of them. Meanwhile, at the Waterfall, we see Chudat in the downstate. He's going to Vapor Form, not able to really get anywhere. Actually got back up, rather. That was an almost instant res coming out from those guys. It looked like he was in Vapor Form for a minute there. But regardless, Easy Peasy, able to pick up a cap. But even so, the Abjur, such an advantage here.
Yeah, and I mean, 7.5 minutes, there's still always that opportunity for them to come back. And it really comes down to if they're going to be able to hold on to that quarry node. And it's Edison versus Phantom again, and we know what happens when that is the matchup, as Phantom has displayed so many times here that he has the advantage in that one. He's going to be able to
we
take
see
that one
5
for
Gauge
sure.
and Toker taken down. The stomp onto Toker will connect. It looks like 5 Gauge trying to get back up here, and I don't think, it might happen. It does. It happened as Wakey was able to help him out with that one, and even they got the kill. If they had been able to get the stomp, I don't think Wakey would have been able to hold on. We could have seen a full cap potentially come out there in a 2-cap for that matter for Easy Peasy at the water.
I mean, this is still big for them because Chaith is the one that's left to kind of bunk this one down, and Wakey has made the adjustment to come over, and I mean, he has, you know, kind of supported his teammate a little bit, but still they're kind of low right now, and they've been able to support each other, I mean, well enough so far. But despite that, Zor on the other side of the map was eliminated. Phantom going to go ahead and get that decap there, and there it is. He does manage to get that decap and the kill. He's going to go for that full cap. Edison's going to be pulling over, but now it's going to be Nas and Phantom that he has to deal with. And, you know, before it was just Phantom that was able to deal with him solo, and the fact that he's going to have some support from that Mesmer is definitely going to put it more in favor of the Abjur for that one.
And with that 1 cap, the Abjur at the graveyard, they will hit the 300-point mark with 6:13 left in this game. Number 1, as Easy Peasy lost their cap at the quarry, and doesn't look like they'll be getting another one anytime soon as Edison under a lot of pressure. Chuda actually taken down at the waterfall. Edison is going to drop. Caden drops as well at the waterfall. Taking a look at what's going on over there. Edmonton is left, and the 2-cap coming out here for the Absurd will once again propel them ahead and give them an even bigger lead as game number 1 starts to come to an end very soon here.
Yeah, and with this 2-cap and with the fact that they're just really kind of pummeling into Edmonton right now, they might actually get a cap here on the waterfall. If they get this 3-cap, I don't ever see them giving it away. And I mean, if they do, it'll just be to give it to a quick 2-cap, and they'll be able to maintain what they've maintained throughout this entire match so far. And 5Gauge going to go ahead and get that full cap right now. We are going to be seeing Vanaram go for that that push actually onto the gate, as he is going to take that one down. They might just decide to finish this one a little bit earlier than anticipated. However, Chudad's going to get onto that waterfall node just in time to make sure that that doesn't get capped out, so they're not suffering from the 3-caps lead.
Ooh, there it is. It happened. He was forced to go around the tree there and give up the 3-cap despite it not ticking. There it is. 3-cap for the Absurd now, and like you said, that gate was just taken down, and it's like the Absurd going to be handily taking this game number 1 with only 56 as you know, currently stands 56 points being given up. Chudat is going to be driven out there by 5Gauge and Magic Toker, and the Stomp will not come out just yet as Favorite Form was used, and now we'll be able to capitalize on this and take game number 1 with ease.
Yeah, and they do have that 3-cap despite what it says at the top of the screen, and it'll show in just a couple of moments as Chudat and Edmonton die off. And I'm not sure if they were fully aware of that, because Chudat was still kind of playing the node a little bit, you know, even when they had that full cap going. So, I mean, maybe that kind of led to his death a little bit, you know, sooner than maybe as anticipated, but they are going to be able to hold on to this one, and it looks like the fight is going to gravitate over towards this quarry, where actually Caden is getting extremely low, taken down actually. Vanaram going for that quick stomp, actually not able to get it. Edison might be able to get him back up, and does indeed, and Caden's going to have his heal as well, perhaps even get a little bit more healthy. But this game is going to end 500 to 56 with Absurd taking it pretty easily against Easy Peasy. I mean, despite that match kind of looking like it could have gone both ways, at least in terms of, I mean, if you covered up the score,
have you looked at the team compositions?
Sometimes, you know?
Looked at the team compositions, maybe so, but unfortunately for Easy Peasy, they will be dropping that game number 1. Moving on to the Battle of Kylo, though, they have a lot of adjustments they need to be making looking forward.
Oh yeah, a lot of adjustments, and I mean, Absurd is one of those teams that is going to be able to see those adjustments very early and adapt to them, I mean, even within the match. And there's not a lot of teams right now that are capable of doing that kind of thing. I mean, you might see teams that kind of adjust, you know, between matches, but I mean, there's even still teams that are in the Pro League that are adjusting, you know, the next week. They're not able to adjust from game to game, and Absurd is one of those ones that is going to be able to do it inside the game. But I don't really think that we're going to be seeing anything different from the Easy Peasy. I think that's going to be much the same, and I think the result is going to be much the same as well.
We'll have to take a look at our second map on the Battle of Kylo, as we have both teams starting to join up here and start to strategize about their movements on this second map, as it doesn't look, like you said, any changes thus far on the side of Easy Peasy. Last week when they dropped the map, it looked like they've made a lot of changes, but they're not doing the same here.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing one change here. Toker is going to be jumping off of that Revenant, and now he's going to be on his Thief, and he's going to be going for that Dagger Pistol, going with Marauder Amulet and Superior Rune of the Daredevil there, and now he's going to be going with Trickery, Deadly Arts, and Daredevil. So he's going back to his old build, not going for the Shadow Trap this time, instead going for the Impairing Daggers with the Signet Agility. But, I mean, definitely look to I mean, this Impact Strike and the finishing blow, I mean, that elite there coming with the physical skills from Daredevil, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of quick finishes. We saw already that, you know, Vanaram as well as 5Gauge have been able to put a lot of pressure down and making sure that, you know, they do get those downstates, but it's all about kind of making sure that you finish that downstate, and I think that Toker is going to do much in the regard of finishing those players off. I mean, he's got the Stomp that he can go ahead and Shadow step out, Shadow return back in, so he's not getting that slow when there's not resistance available, and of course he's going to be able to get that, you know, good timing, as we saw Cade in the past do with that finishing blow as well.
Just waiting on these teams to ready up. As you mentioned, no changes from Easy Peasy, like we said before, which is, honestly, last week they made a lot of changes, but nothing this week. Zor opting for four of those wells here, and I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing at the beginning of this game. Now, Toker moving over to the Thief. This is something that I really like because it's going back to that Thief play. I think it's really good for this map. If any map at all, this is the map you want to use the Thief on for the Absurd. And he's so good at this. I'm very curious to see how he's going to be able to fare against Edmonton and Caden, who might be on him all game long.
Yeah, I mean, in this matchup, I mean, with Toker going back to the Thief, that only, to me, means that they are that much more comfortable, and especially you're going to be seeing a lot more, of course, vertical mobility there with the Thief, as he does have that short bow. He's going to be able to have that shadow step as well, so he's going to be able to get around the map a lot, I mean, very quickly. I mean, Revenant's still much the same, but I think that they feel really comfortable about this. I think that they have the team fights under wraps, that they can then use the Thief to get between a lot of these fights a lot quicker, maybe even get a couple decaps perhaps, although we didn't really see...
I mean, decaps. Yeah. I mean, what decaps are you talking about? There has to be nodes that are capped in the first place for that to happen.
Yeah, that's
so maybe plussing fights is a better way to put it.
That's one of those things where it comes out of your mouth, and like while you're talking about it, you're like, wait, no, stop, please.
That's not happening. Toker, he'll be able to plus fights fairly quickly and get in there if they really need to, and that's not something they struggle with whatsoever. So maybe just a comfort choice for Magic Toker here as game number 2 on the Battle of Kylo is about to commence, as both teams looking for a victory. The Absurd could come out with a 4-0 lead in the Pro League if they are able to clean up this game. Take a look at the map though. For the opening splits, we are going to have Phantom heading to that windmill, Chudat heading to the mansion, and more than likely, once again, 3-point play for both these teams. Going back into the map though, it looks like that could be a push from Nos, as he is going to be going to that mansion. Meanwhile, we will see Edison head to the windmill.
Yeah, and that's going to be that 1v1 matchup that we've become all too familiar with, where Phantom always really kind of seems to have that advantage, and so far it looks like that is going to be the case. As long as he can keep those conditions up and just maintain his own HP, he's going to be looking pretty good. Looks like Edison is going for a little bit more of a defensive play here, but you know, looking at the midpoint instead, we are seeing actually Easy Peasy taking a lot of pressure here, putting a lot onto Chaith, but he's going to be able to get some heals from his teammates as well as himself, and he's going to be able to get a lot of blasts off as well. But they're still continuing the pressure here on top of Chaith, who's now down to about 40% HP. They do still have Toker in the mix as well, so I mean, if at any point he goes down, Wakey's going to be able to get that quick res, and
Edmonton almost taken down as well. Needs to be very careful. Chaith is all over him. He still is under a lot of pressure, does nothing left for himself. He will be taken into the downstage. Zor going in for the res. Is he going to be able to get it back up? It looks like so. Edmonton is going to be safely rezzed, as it looks like Caden, or excuse me, yes, Caden is, it's not under a whole lot of pressure, but Edison now is in the 1v1 against Phantom. Still in that 1v1 and is probably going to lose. You were mentioning, oh, Phantom going to drive him out there with that Surge of the Mist, going to pick up the kill for himself and give him the first cap of the game.
Yeah, and we talked about this pretty much all day. That first cap really kind of has been the precedent throughout the entire match, where whoever gets that first one probably going to be the winner of that match.
That's held true every match today. The team with the first cap has won the game. Now Edmonton is going to be taken out here. Oh, the instant stop coming out there from Toker's Elite will pick up that kill, and now Caden is left alone as Zor was eliminated as well. On top of the clock tower, he's actually going to be able to get himself back up, thankfully enough, for his sake. But regardless, that mid node is not going in their favor anytime soon.
Yeah, and Caden's going to be waiting to be bled out here, as they do get that 2 cap there for Absurd. We are seeing Zor actually come in and try to get the res off, but we are seeing Wakey get that stomp. No, not.
Looked like he almost had it there, but and it looked like Zor should have had the res, but unfortunately wasn't able to. And the mid cap went in favor of the Absurd, now taking 2 caps, same scenario as last game. Chudat though is going to be taken down in a matter of seconds unless he's able to get out of this one alive. Is running that staff, however, as opposed to that dagger focus in the last game, and he will be eliminated as the Absurd will clean up that fight. Meanwhile, over the mansion, a bunch of things are going on there.
Yeah, looking at the mansion over here, I mean, this has been actually a good time for Easy Peasy. Actually, I mean, so far it's Nos getting kind of low, and I think they really kind of need to exploit Nos being kind of, I mean, sort of new to this Mesmer, and Caden actually perfectly times that right there and almost eliminates Nos, who goes ahead and uses that 2 and does the ability to still get him down though. Edison kind of low, and now they need to definitely look to Phantom here as a as the next possibility in terms of them getting another downstate, and Edison actually getting kind of low himself, and they're trying to get the counter pressure down on him. Fanaram looking a lot healthier now, however, still going down a little bit.
And one thing to point out is they did get the cap at the windmill. It looked like Toker was attempting for a decap, as you were saying, something we don't really see very often, but knew that he had Nas coming off a respawn. Didn't want to waste his efforts going all the way over there, as Nas should be able to pick up the decap. Nothing to worry about, giving him a few extra points for that time being. Nas actually doesn't pick it up as Zor, able to make it back just in the nick of time. As Fanaram is taken out, the stomp coming out there from Edmonton will connect, and as they're trying to get something going over at the mansion here for Easy.
This is actually looking a little bit better here for Easy Peasy. I mean, they have, 80-point difference. That's definitely within the realm of possibility for a comeback. I mean, just under 11 minutes left on this match. So far, it looks like Mansion has, kind of gone okay for them. Wakey right now is up against Shootout and Caden, as Toker is going to be kind of forced to leave, as he wasn't able to really prove as effective as as he potentially could have been there, and Edmonton now going to stroll in as well, turn that into a 2v1 onto Wakey. Wakey's certainly going to be able to sustain that for quite some time. However, we do have to be kind of wary of that. You know, Wakey is up against a lot of damage pressure here, as both of these guys are Revenants, and they're going to be able to take down that Mesmer.
A few ticks away from a full cap here. That's all they need to take a 2 cap for themselves. Nearly 5 minutes into this game. On the other side of the map, though, Zorbo's taking it into the downstate. Looks like Chudat's going in for the res. Luckily, he's able to res off. No, he's not going to stand on the point to get the res. Gives up the full cap itself. Fanaram and Chafe, just a little too much for him. So as I was saying, you know, almost had the 2 cap there, had a chance for it, but that windmill going to be going in favor of the Absurd, who will be picking it up for themselves. And Chudat, regardless, will be taken out here as Red Team takes that cap for themselves and going to be having a 100-point lead now.
Yeah, they're looking really, really good right now. Absurd is definitely in a more comfortable position, a position that they're a lot more used to being in, of course, especially against a team like Easy Peasy, where, I mean, despite their showing in this matchup where they've done quite well, and again, this is a team that is having 2 of their guys who are typically used to playing very consistently the same class. I mean, Edmonton always really kind of playing that Guardian. Edison always really kind of playing that Thief there. Playing something new here, trying to adapt, trying to make some changes to have a better opportunity, and I think that they've done a good job so far. It's just the Absurd is just kind of the better team, and they're proving that here.
And it's not even about necessarily, I mean, we know the Absurd in their previous comp were basically the top best in their class, respectively. And moving over to new classes on a few of their members here, maybe not the best, respectively, in the classes, but their rotations, overall, their synergy, their teamwork, their communication is far better than most other teams, for that matter. And even against an Easy Peasy squad, you know, this is a good test for them to see how this new comp works with them.
Yeah, Fanaram right now is about to go down, though, and he does indeed. Looks like they're going to try for the res, and almost got it, but they do still have so much pressure on top of them. They do manage to get him back up, and Edison took a little bit of pressure just trying to put down his own, and now actually Caden is going down, Edmonton down as well. Edison is the only one left up. The Absurd have managed to turn this one completely back around, and now Edison is forced off by himself. Fanaram going to follow in pursuit here.
I don't think Edison's getting out of this one, maybe. Oh, does get through with the jump puzzle, as he will keep himself alive going to the midpoint. We will see the side nodes in favor of the Absurd, who had mid and, you know, a little bit ago, but did give up the decap here, as it looks like Easy Peasy trying to make a push now for this node.
Oh, Edison with the jukes, though, if you saw that. I mean, he completely juked out Shades for a second there with that jump back, and he's now on the point there with his teammate Shootout, trying to put some more damage into Wakey, who does have to force himself into that block there and is still kind of taking a lot of heat. And I mean, honestly, at this point, Wakey could go down, actually, and almost does. He's forced into staff, doesn't have any blocks left now, and they're going to try to finish the job. Gravity Well goes down, but he's going to go down anyways to the confusion. They're going to try to put some pressure down on it, but it's, it could be enough. It could potentially be enough, and they do manage to get the stomp off from Zor there with the quickness, and they're able to get that one, and now they're in a position where if they can get Edison back up into a healthy stat.
Is taken down as well, but they're all on the res. They get him back up with ease. And, you know, a nice kill regardless for Easy Peasy, but you can't deny the fact the Absurd strongly hold this 2 cap. Zor looking for a decap at the windmill. As I said, every time today, it looks like he's going to get the decap. Wakey is going to meet him there, and still holding onto a 1 cap over at the mansion. Edison's now making him move for it. It doesn't look like He's gonna be contested. Oh, there's the portal come back from Nos, who knew that was coming apparently, and all my words are coming back to haunt me today.
Yeah, Edison's gonna go ahead and leave this one once again. They did manage to get a decap across the map there, and now Absurd only has 1 cap, but still 362 points in favor of the Absurd. Still looking very, very solid right now. It looks like Toker is just trying to watch Edison's movement because he knows Edison is just trying so hard to get this decap going, and they just always have an answer for it, it seems, and it looks like he's going to take the 1v1 versus Toker. He thinks he might have a possibility in winning that one. However, Toker is just all over him with this one. Slick Shoes come out for him.
Didn't really capitalize on that Slick Shoe much, if you ask me, because
he was more focused on getting more Slick Shoes out than he was actually capitalizing on the fact that he already landed the Slick Shoes.
Yeah, Toker was just sitting duck there. Oh, might actually even take him down there. Withdraw going to keep him alive, keep him at bay. This 1v1 is pretty intense between these two. And Toker just going to head out of this one, doesn't want anything to do with it. Doesn't look like Chudat really notices he's here. And Toker getting right back in onto Edmonton on this clock tower.
Yeah, and Edison has to wait for that stealth to end before he can go for that decap, and it looks like that is going to be something. Oh man, the Absurd is just going to let happen, and it looks like they're going to be instead opting for that midpoint where Chudat is still taking so much pressure here, somehow managing to stay alive. And over on the windmill, actually, Caden is in a similar state where he was actually dropped there. Zor is the only one up. He's going to try to get his teammate back up, and does indeed manage to do that. Zor now could fall though, as he did give up a lot to manage that res there, and now sitting at about 10% HP, 3k right now for him. So much damage, and he's going to try to port away. Has his block, also has the Blurred Frenzy, but they're going to end him there with the Leeching Sigil there and kill Caden in the same hit there. And now they're going to be able to get the windmill. The cap for the mansion did come in the meantime from Easy Peasy, and now a lot of this fight is actually going to gravitate over towards that mid node, but still
down such an extraordinary amount here, and the Absurd almost taking that mid node, 1 tick away for that matter, with 4:30 left in this game. Easy Peasy trying so hard, but their cap at the windmill will come out for the Absurd, who are under 100 points away from sealing the 2-0 victory here and moving on as your only undefeated team in the North American Pro League scene, which is an impressive feat, but it's the Absurd who could have expected anything less.
Chudat about to go down here, actually does indeed, and they're trying for the res, but Edmonton goes down as well, and they're going to be dropping 2 more members here. Absurd just looking so strong right now, going to get that full cap as well. 2 cap for them now, only 69 points. 69 points left to go in this matchup, and Absurd probably going to be taking this game too. So 2-0s across the board for us today. You know, everybody kind of proven their dominance a little bit, despite a lot of the comps being kind of being the same. So a test of skill.
Well, you know, you gotta credit some of these teams, you know, Easy Peasy for that matter, continuing to battle out through the end, defending them for themselves, and doing what they're trying. You know, they have a cap here on the mansion. I mean, they're gonna hit 150 points, no doubt, in my mind, against the top-ranked Absurd here. So
top teams have certainly done a lot worse versus the Absurd. I mean, you have to hand it to Easy Peasy. I mean, a team that I think most people kind of expected to be very close to the bottom. I mean, going into this season, kind of in the same regard.
Me included, for that matter. They've shocked me throughout this tournament.
They've gotten, exponentially better over the course of the last 4 weeks, and I mean, you know, it's hard to show that when they're going up against a team like the Absurd, a team that has yet to be defeated in a series, but. I still think they've gotten a lot better over the course of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, congratulations to the Absurd, going to be moving up to 4-0, nearly solidifying their movement to the season finals for that matter. But Easy Peasy dropping to 2-2 for today. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, they're still in the mix for maybe a top 4, top 5 spot, but coming up against
I'm calling it right now. I mean, the second place team is going to be 5-2, and I think there's going to be a tiebreaker. It just depends. 5-2. It's going to be 5-2, man. Going to be 5-2. So I mean, it really comes down to who can win their last 3 games here. All 3 of the last 3 games, of course. I mean, but here are your standings right now. Absurd, of course, going to be in first place here with 12 points, Spooky there with second place with 9. Easy Peasy and Apex tied with Final Form, and PZ there in third place, and Never Lucky and Zero Counterplay bringing up the the caboose there, 7th and 8th place respectively for those two.
You know, a big skirmish between that third place. Easy peasy Apex, Final Form PZ. It really feels like Final Form PZ and even Apex for that matter are kind of in the upper half of that. With Spooky, I'm not so sure how they're going to fare in the coming weeks. You know, they're in second place right now, but they've got a lot of tough competition.
They still have the Absurd that they have to fight. I mean, Apex still as well, but Spooky, since they won that matchup, I mean, is in a good position now to actually be that second place team. It really kind of comes down to how PZ performs and in the coming weeks, and we'll have to see what happens, or if even Apex can take that win over the Absurd and be in the running as well.
It very well could happen. Let's go ahead and take a look at our season schedule. Of course, it is December 14th, and we have a bit of a break before our next week, which will be week 5. It starts on January 11th. We're following 2 weeks after that, and then about a month later will be the studio finals on February 20th. So our next time we will be seeing you guys is on January 11th. So a bit of time for these teams to start to make adjustments, even with changes coming tomorrow.
Yeah, so of course I mean, if you guys pay attention to the forums at all, we are going to be seeing a couple of adjustments made in the interim, or rather in the hiatus that we're going to be experiencing in the next 3-4 weeks or whatever it is for the holidays. So teams will have time to adjust over it. Over that time period. I mean, granted, a lot of them are probably going to be spending time with their families, and of course, I hope that everybody else is going to be doing the same. I know I will, but you know, they're going to be able to take at least some of that time to adjust to it, and we're going to be seeing a couple of changes happen. You know, and I hope that you know, we might see some teams try some new things out.
It'll be interesting to see in about 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, on January 11th. It'll still be at the same time. That would be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But that will be it from us tonight, guys. We hope you have happy holidays, and we'll see you on January 11th.